In the trauma dump GC. Why is every Bkdk hashtag trending? It would be a sin if they weren't. Dang, Mina got everything filmed. It's inevitable, honey. Oh my god, why is Shoto so in his baby girl era there? New fear unlocked. Mina catching you in pics. Don't date a classmate. Bakugo, Midoriya, Todoroki, Zero. We're not dating, Mina. Yes, you are. No, we're not. I and Zero are also not dating, Mina.
And historians will call them close friends, besties.
We're just friends.
Denial is a river in Egypt.
Even Kirishima ships it. Everyone, I know you're having fun, but please refrain from making your classmates uncomfortable. Right, why is Kachan so on the latest dispatch update? Bro, if officially a simp, I'm cutting off the Wi-Fi. You all better get to bed early and recharge, even if it's Saturday tomorrow. In the morning, it was a still, early morning, the sun barely casting its first light over the UA dorms. Midoriya was lacing up his shoes for a jog when a strange, haunting sound from a dorm room made him freeze. The corridors were bathed in a dim, eerie glow, and the silence was thick and oppressive. Is that a child's voice? The faint, almost ghostly whisper echoed through the hallway, sending a chill down his spine. Midoriya strained his ears, heart pounding, but the sound faded into the silence. He shook his head, trying to dismiss the unsettling feeling gnawing at him. Maybe I really do need more sleep. With one last glance at the dark, silent dorm room, he stepped outside, hoping the fresh morning air would clear his mind. In the Class 1A dorms, the sun had barely risen over UA, high school's dorms when Class 1A began to stir. The kitchen was bustling with activity as students prepared breakfast and chatted about their plans for the day. However, the usual morning chatter was interrupted by a growing concern. Has anyone seen Midoriya? He usually comes back from his jog by now. Lita adjusted his glasses. It's strange. He left hours ago. Maybe he's training extra hard today. Wouldn't be surprising, considering it's Midoriya. But 4 hours is a bit much, even for him. He said something about hearing a child's voice before he left. Do you think he might be investigating something? A child's voice? That doesn't sound right. There shouldn't be any children in the dorms. Maybe it was some kind of villain trap. What if he's in trouble? Mina leaned forward, her face serious. Zero tried to lighten the mood. Or maybe he's just lost track of time. You know how he gets when he's focused. Jiro, already in action, plugged an earphone jack into the wall. Let me check for any unusual sounds or disturbances. If there's something weird going on, I might pick it up. Regardless, we shouldn't just sit here. We need to find him. What if he needs help? Minetta's voice quivered with nerves. But what if there really is a villain? Shouldn't we get a teacher? We'll search the dorm first. If we don't find him, then we'll inform Aizawa-sensei. I'll check outside. Maybe he got sidetracked somewhere nearby. I'll come with you, Todoroki. Let's split up and search everywhere. We need to find Deku. With a plan in place, the students of Class 1A spread out, their usual morning routines forgotten as they combed through the dorms and surrounding area. Concern for their missing friend fueled their determination, each one hoping to find Midoriya safe and sound. Denki flung open a closet door. Midoriya, you in here? Dude, come out before we call Ghostbusters on you. Sato checked the pantry, peering behind the snacks. He can't resist snacks. Maybe he's hidden behind the cookies. Mina burst into laughter. If he's hiding, he must be a wizard or something. Deku the Grey, you shall not pass. Jiro rolled her eyes. This isn't a game of hide and seek, guys. Focus. Kota signed nervously. I hope he's okay. What if he's lost? We'll find him. We just need to stay organized. Zero checked the ceiling corners, looking bemused. Okay, but if he's Spider-Man-ing somewhere, I'm gonna lose it. I bet he's off doing some secret hero stuff and forgot the time. Classic Midoriya. Yeah, he's probably saving a cat from a tree or something. Plus ultra right. Todoroki and Uraraka returned from outside, shaking their heads. No sign of him out there. Where could he be? This isn't like him at all. Sato scratched his head in thought. Anyone tried texting him? Slide into those DMs. Lita held up his phone, his expression serious. I've tried calling multiple times. It goes straight to voicemail. If he heard a child's voice, he might be trying to help someone. We should check every room, including the unused ones. What if it's a ghost child? I've seen those horror movies, man. We're all doomed. Don't worry, I'll use a tarot card to pin his location. Or maybe just Google Maps. Bro got into tarot reading a little too much. As they continued their search, a thought struck Suyu. Wait a minute, has anyone seen Bakugo? Denki looked around, realization dawning on his face. Now that you mention it, no. He wasn't at breakfast either. Lita frowned, his concern deepening. This is highly unusual. Bakugo is usually up early, training or yelling at someone. Maybe he's off doing secret hero stuff with Midoriya and forgot the time too. Jiro plugged her earphone jacks into the wall again. Hold on, let me listen for him. Bet he's just blowing off steam somewhere. You know how he gets. We should check his room, just in case. I'll go. If he's in trouble, I want to be there to help. They made their way to Bakugo's room, finding the door slightly ajar. Inside, they discovered a note left on his desk. Kirishima picked it up and read aloud. Gone to train and blow off steam. Don't bother looking for me. Uraraka sighed in relief. At least he's okay. Typical Bakugo. We should still keep an eye out for him. He might need backup, or someone to remind him he has friends who care. I find it unusual for Mina to actually care and not only stay for the drama and tea. What? I ain't that much of a devil, you know. Suddenly, a loud cry erupted from the closet. Did you hear that? Oh my god, is that a child's voice? Mina's eyes were wide with shock. They all looked at each other, jaws slightly open, fear evident on their faces. Is it coming from the closet? Suyu asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I think so. Kirishima's voice shaky. Oh my god, who should check it? Mineta began, but his voice trailed off as they all turned to look at Todoroki. To everyone's surprise, Todoroki was already holding a small child up in his arms. The kid had a piece of tape over his mouth, which he had somehow managed to peel off, allowing him to let out the cry. The child was a complete mess, snot dripping from his nose, his chubby cheeks blushing with distress. Ah, Todoroki, where did you get the child? Uraraka screamed, her voice a mix of shock and confusion. That looks like someone I know. Jiro's eyes widening in realization. What the flip-flops? Definitely Bakugo, Denki shouted, pointing at the kid. Is that Bakugo? Oh my Jesus, why was he in the closet? Mina's voice was almost hysterical. The child cried again, and as they looked closer, there was no mistaking it. The kid indeed looked like Bakugo, with spiky blonde hair, piercing yellow eyes, and an angry expression that was all too familiar. He's a brat. Todoroki said flatly, holding the squirming child at arm's length. Everyone's jaws dropped once again, but this time, they were full-on gaping. Ah, why did you say that, Todoroki? Kirishima yelled, unable to comprehend the absurdity of the situation. Zero, trying to hold back. Laughter. Dude, you can't just call baby Bakugo a brat. Even if it's true. Mina was almost doubled over with laughter. Oh my god, this is the funniest thing I've seen all week. Bakugo, a literal baby. Jiro shook her head, still in disbelief. Seriously though, how did this happen? And why was he in the closet? Maybe he was trying to hide from his own explosive temper and got stuck in the process. We need to figure out how to change him back. I don't think the world is ready for baby Bakugo. Let's get him to Recovery Girl. She might know what to do. As they made their way to the infirmary, baby Bakugo continued to squirm and yell, his tiny fists waving angrily in the air. The entire class couldn't help but laugh at the sheer absurdity of the situation, even as they worried about how to fix it. And through it all, Todoroki held the tiny Bakugo at arm's length, looking as unruffled as ever. He's still a brat, he muttered, and this time, everyone burst into uncontrollable laughter. In the infirmary, the students of Class 1A crowded around Recovery Girl, their worried and curious faces fixed on the fussy baby Bakugo in Todoroki's arms. Be careful with him, Uraraka's voice a mix of concern and amusement. He's still Bakugo, even if he's pint-sized. Does he still have his quirk? Let's hope not. A baby with explosions is a recipe for disaster. Recovery Girl sighed, shaking her head as she inspected the squirming infant. Calm down, all of you. Let me have a look. As she examined the tiny Bakugo, the baby let out a loud wail, waving his chubby fists in the air. I swear, he looks just like Bakugo when he's angry. Maybe he's upset because he can't blow stuff up. Or because he misses yelling at us. I wonder if he still has that same explosive personality. As if to answer her, baby Bakugo let out an ear-piercing scream, making everyone jump. Yup, that's our Bakugo. Denki shook his head, just in a smaller, cuter package. He's like a tiny, angry Pikachu. Recovery girl tried to calm the baby, but Bakugo was having none of it, squirming and yelling louder. Hold still, young man. Recovery girl scolded gently. I need to see what's wrong with you. Good luck with that. Bakugo never listens, especially not when he's throwing a tantrum. Todoroki, still holding the baby, looked at him thoughtfully. Maybe he needs a nap. A nap, with that much energy? Denki raised an eyebrow. Good luck. It's like charging a fully charged phone. Ha ha ha. Just then, baby Bakugo reached out and grabbed a fistful of Todoroki's hair, yanking hard. Todoroki winced but didn't let go. He's got a strong grip for a baby. Guess that's Bakugo for you. After several minutes of examination and attempts to calm the baby, recovery girl finally sighed and stepped back. Well, I've checked everything I can. This is definitely a baby. But I can't find any trace of transformation or quirk activity. So, what does that mean? It means, this is not the actual Bakugo. There was a stunned silence as the words sank in. Wait, what? Uraraka's eyes were wide. Then who is this? They looked at the baby in disbelief. You're saying we've been babysitting a random kid? Where did this baby even come from? Baby Bakugo, seemingly pleased with the attention, let out another loud cry, making everyone jump. Well, that explains why he hasn't exploded yet. But it doesn't explain why he was in our dorm closet. Or why he looks exactly like Bakugo. Todoroki added, still holding the baby at arm's length. This is so weird. I guess we need to find the real Bakugo now and figure out where this baby came from. In the meantime, who's going to take care of him? Not it, Denki said quickly, raising his hands. Definitely not me. Mineta shook his head. Maybe we should take him to Aizawa-sensei. Yeah, let him handle this mystery baby. Aizawa-sensei is going to love this. Or perhaps, Aizawa-sensei is going to expel us. As they made their way to Aizawa's office, baby Bakugo continued to squirm and yell, making everyone laugh despite the confusion. This is definitely one of the strangest mornings we've had. I don't think so, this is like a normal day in our house. Bro let his trauma one again. The day isn't complete without Todoroki's trauma dump. They knocked on Aizawa's door, and from within, they heard his low, gruff voice give a begrudging, come in. If we ruin Sensei's sleep, we're done for. And the reason ain't even a good thing, we're like adding a problem to his problematic life. Why'd you call out Aizawa-sensei like that, dude? Uraraka slowly opened the door of Aizawa's office, but the child Bakugo pushed it abruptly, making the door slammed open. Bro, I think I'm gonna suffocate myself from holding my laugh in. Same here, that was epic. Shut up, you two. Good morning, sir. I apologize for suddenly barging in, but we found a kid in our dorm. Seriously, this is the last thing I need to deal with at 8 a.m. on a Saturday. Aizawa stared at the squirming baby in Todoroki's arms with his usual deadpan expression, though his eyes betrayed a hint of exasperation. Explain. He demanded, his voice flat. We found him in our dorm closet, Aizawa-sensei. Uraraka was trying so hard to keep a straight face. He looks exactly like Bakugo, but apparently, according to Recovery Girl, he's not. Aizawa rubbed his temples. And you brought him to me because we thought you should know. Kirishima chimed in, his grin widening. It's a bit of a mystery, don't you think? Aizawa sighed deeply, his patience wearing thin. Did any of you consider that this might be someone else's child? The class exchanged nervous glances. I mean, he was in our dorm. And he looks so much like Bakugo. Aizawa pinched the bridge of his nose. So, what's the plan now? We thought maybe you could figure it out, sir. Lita suggested earnestly. Aizawa stared at them for a moment, then sighed again. Fine, I'll look into it. In the meantime, find a temporary solution for him. He gestured to the baby Bakugo. Who's going to take care of him? Mina asked, glancing around the room. Not it, Mineta said quickly, raising his hand. I've got training. I have homework. Aizawa raised an eyebrow. No volunteers. I can take him. Everyone turned to look at Todoroki in surprise. You sure about that, Todoroki? I don't mind. Aizawa shrugged, seemingly indifferent. Fine, take him. Just don't let him explode anything. Todoroki nodded again, adjusting his hold on the squirming baby. Great. Problem solved. Aizawa sounded so resigned. As Todoroki walked out of the office with baby Bakugo, the rest of Class 1A followed, still buzzing with disbelief and amusement. Later that day, In the common room of Class 1A's dorms, Todoroki sat on the couch with baby Bakugo in his lap. The baby had finally calmed down after a round of bouncing and shushing. So, what do we do now? Kirishima sighed, leaning against the wall. Should we put up missing posters? I think we should figure out where he came from. And what about the real Bakugo? We still need to find him. Suddenly, the door swung open, and Bakugo himself stormed in, his usual scowl in place. What the H is going on here? His eyes narrowed at the sight of Todoroki holding a baby that looked eerily like him. The room fell silent as everyone turned to look at Bakugo, then at the baby, then back at Bakugo. Surprise, Kirishima ventured with a nervous grin. Bakugo's eyes twitched. Someone better start explaining right now. Bakugo stood in the doorway, his eyes blazing with a mixture of confusion and irritation. His gaze flickered from Todoroki to the baby in Todoroki's arms and then back to Todoroki again, as if trying to process the absurdity of the scene before him. Todoroki remained surprisingly composed, considering he was holding a baby that looked remarkably like their explosive-tempered classmate. It's complicated, he began, searching for the right words. Uraraka, unable to contain her laughter any longer, burst out. We found a baby that looks exactly like you, Bakugo. Bakugo's eyes widened in disbelief. Him, like me, are you idiots serious? It's true, he was in our closet this morning, and recovery girl said he's not. Actually you, but he sure acts like you. The baby in Todoroki's arms chose that moment to let out a tiny, indignant wail, waving his chubby fists in the air. Bakugo stared at the miniature version of himself, his scowl deepening. I can't believe this, he muttered, running a hand through his hair. What's wrong with you people? We were just as surprised as you are, Bakugo. No, Bakugo pinched the bridge of his nose, shutting his eyes out of stress. Why did you let out the F-king kid? Everyone, once again, had their jaws dropped to the floor. What do you mean, Bakugo? Did you kidnap someone else's kid? That is a crime, Bakugo. You can't do that just because you're still a student and hero. This is going to put your temporary license in danger, man. You're so done. Oh my floating god, no way. I'm sorry Bakugo, but I have to defy our friendship and turn you into the cops. Bro, I thought you're gonna be a hero. Why? Bakugo stared at them blankly, and then his face went full-on madness again. What the actual F are you saying? This is my godong child.
What the fuck?
You're a baby daddy. Bakugo blasted towards Kaminari, and that gained giggles and applause from the child. No way, you got someone pregnant. Another blast towards Mineta this time. Bro, I thought you're gay. The loudest blast towards Mina. The kid's gonna be traumatized if you're the father, Bakugo. He cannot blast Todoroki because he's holding his child. Wasn't that child shine, Bakugo? You packed him in a closet. TCH. Calm the fairy down, maggot heads. First of all, that kid is a fake. What are you saying? He's so cute, he's breathing, he's so lovely. Just let me adopt him if you're gonna be mean to the kid, Bakugo. Adoption would cost a lot, Uraraka. I mean, I'm gone alpha find someone worthy to adopt him.
Why are you running?
I'm running towards kindness. What the actual FCK? What the Halloween? You clearly just rejected a child. What are you saying? I was silent the whole time though. Suddenly she was mute. Yo, your face is scary. So, why is he a fake, Bakugo? And please, stop documenting this, Mina.
And
I already did. I got hit by a dang quirk yesterday while I was training late underground. Why were you training underground? Bro finally revealed his true form. He was actually Toji's cursed worm. Why is that mother flicker even mentioned here? He clearly chopped my body into half. Manifesting for Mineta to finally stop dreaming that he's Gojo. What type of quirk was it? Do you have any info? That motherflyer said that she has a quirk that could make a child. The child's gonna be the reflection of the father's behaviors. She was so cringe as F, she even told me that the child was based on who I like. And the kid looked so much like you. Aren't you loving yourself too much? Now, that's a whole karma right there. Wait, did you do something bad to that lady? No, I just told her dog to shut up. How? He definitely yelled at the dog. I did not even yell. I gave that dog a flipping corn to chew on, but he was so dumb he got himself choked on that shinks.
That was horrible.
I'd definitely curse anyone who does that to my dog, honestly.
The kid started crying. Now, he seems hungry. What do you want to eat, little Bakugo? Shut the shinks icy hot. He doesn't have a name, what do you want me to call him, then? I don't give a f. Just don't call him by my surname. Wow, that's a mean father right there. Definitely an Endeavor 2.0. Is what I'm thinking. Nah, this day is definitely a trauma dump day for Todoroki. Where did Bakugo go again? Oh, he vanished, probably escaping his parental responsibility. He probably doesn't want to pay for child support, y'all. Abandoning a child is crazy. Normal day for me. We know, Todoroki. Cheer up, man. Tuya definitely had it harder. Zero taped Kaminari's mouth. At noon, in the bustling common room of Class 1A's dormitory, chaos and laughter mingled as the students tried to make sense of the situation with baby Bakugo. Todoroki, still holding the squirming toddler who eerily resembled Bakugo, sat on the couch while the others gathered around, preparing for lunch. Okay, but seriously, what do we feed him? Kirishima scratched his head, eyeing the toddler who seemed determined to explore every inch of Todoroki's lap. Maybe he likes spicy food. Absolutely not, Todoroki replied firmly, adjusting his grip on the baby. We should stick to something safe and baby-friendly. Uraraka nodded in agreement. Yeah, let's find something mild. Maybe some mashed potatoes or soft fruits. As they debated the menu for their unexpected guest, Mina peeked into the kitchen. I think we have some baby food pouches in here. Let me check. While Mina rummaged through the cabinets, Tsuyu observed the toddler curiously. He seems pretty energetic. Maybe he takes after Bakugo in more ways than one. Can you imagine a toddler with Bakugo's explosive personality? That would be interesting. Just then, the toddler squirmed in Todoroki's arms, pointing towards the hallway and mumbling something indistinctly. What's he saying? Shiro leaned in, trying to catch the toddler's words. Todoroki frowned, listening carefully. Mama. The room fell silent as everyone exchanged surprised glances. Did he just say, Mama? He did, but where would his mother be? Uraraka bit her lip, looking concerned. Bakugo hasn't come back yet, has he? No, he hasn't. Denki glanced at the clock. He's been gone a while. He wouldn't just leave his kid here, right? I hope not. As they were talking, the dorm's door opened, and Bakugo entered, his face looking a lot calmer this time. Where'd you go, man? You have a kid to take care of here. Shut up. Cooled my head off, that kid's stressing me out. Ah, he's still a baby, why are you so mean? This is the first time Bakugo said he was stressed out. Ha 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 ha, and it was because of the reflection of his behavior. He only does not love himself too much to make the kid look a lot like him, but also hates his attitude so much that he's now been stressing out. He's like, man, this kid looks way too much like me because I love myself, but also, can't stand its attitude. Stress level, through the roof. Bakugo's worst opponent, himself. You're so real for that. Here, Bakugo, hold your child, too. Bakugo looked extremely mortified as Todoroki approached him. He almost jumped out of the dorms. Why? Get him away from me. But why? No way I'll hold that child. He's a flicking menace. No, icy hot, you're not doing this sheet today. My life's already a sheet, don't even fairy add to it. The toddler's small hand touched the blonde's arm. Bakugo already knows what type of suffering is going to happen next. What are you doing? You're gonna suffocate the child. F off, icy hot, I already told you to get this child away from me f. He held the toddler's hands tightly, yet not too forceful to hurt him. Get the f out of the house. If this kid's hands manage to touch you, you'll be danged to be his mother. What the actual Hollywood? No way, I'm not giving away my freedom that easily. I'd rather not. Dealing with Endeavor is enough. I don't need many Endeavors running around. The trauma dump's going hard today, huh, Todo-Bay. I'll float away before I end up babysitting every weekend. If those tiny fists start swinging, I'll have to toughen up for sure. Can't let a toddler knock me out. He ain't knocking you out but will only make you his mother. Ribbit, should we call in a distraction? Maybe a game of leapfrog? I could summon a barricade, or we could all just calmly walk towards the nearest exit. Dark shadow, prepare for potential chaos. Baby hands are surprisingly strong. I'm all for making a quick solution. But first, let me take a good angle. This is gonna be a core memory. I'm fine at the thought of being a mother, but being Bakugo's significant other. Double it and give it to the next person. Anyway, should I play loud music to distract him? Please, don't. He's just a kid. Lol, you have a thing for recovering menaces. She definitely got that KNK from trying to save Toga. Oh, look, I'm evaporating. If those little hands zap me, do I get a shocking revelation about parenthood? That was the smartest wordings you've said today. But it won't change the fact that you used to have a crush on me.
Brother,
What the F? You got some water in your brain. Tape barricade. I've got enough to encase the whole room. Let's not let this escalate. I think this is gonna be in the hero gossip front page, y'all. Because you're filming it, please, stop documenting all of these headaches, Mina. Everyone, remain composed. We must evade these miniature fingers with precise and orderly retreat. I'll keep my distance. Last thing I need is to be handled by a curious toddler. I'm so grateful to have this invincibility quirk. Besides its advantage on catching traitors, it's also impossible for anyone to chase me when I'm unclothed. Please, we don't need to know that you ain't wearing anything. Me, I need to know it. Oh, suddenly I'm quirkless. Mama, mama, mama. Ah, this baby's so cute, Ᏸ4ᏰᏩ. You have a cousin after all. Deku, you F bastard, what do you think you are doing? Eat some S. You've been missing for days, and now you're back to ruin my F-King life even more, huh? Are you seriously doing this? What is going on? Sorry, I mean, but I was only out for hours. What do you mean I've been missing for days? He's definitely exaggerating, Midoriya. But why did you touch the bee baby? What the H? You all's faces are scary. You should be more scared of what's coming for you. Huh, congrats on being a mother without losing your virginity, Midoriya. What? Whoa, so holy. He became a mother with his versus card intact like the VRG in Mary. Bruh, Jesus is watching. It was a compliment, Jesus. Please give me more pennies. Bakugo explained everything, and Midoriya shortly fainted. Midoriya groggily wakes up on his bed, surrounded by his classmates. Bakugo stands at the foot of the bed, arms crossed and scowling, while the child sits on the floor, playing with a hero action figure. What happened? Why does my head hurt? Welcome back to reality, Deku. You just signed up for parenthood. Dude, you touched the kid. Congrats, you're now officially the mama. What? Yup, looks like you're stuck with Bakugo Jr. here. I told you to stop calling him by my surname. Mama, everyone bursts out laughing. This is so unfair. Why do I have to be the mama? Think of it as a sidekick training. Plus, it's kinda hilarious. Ᏸ4ᏰᏩ, you have to fix this. Not my problem, nerd. You're on diaper duty now. The kid started crying out loud. Hey, one of you get the kid, please. Father, he's already bawling his eyes out but his parents couldn't care less. Ha 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 ha, poor kid. Adoption center is open, you know. I'll take him. Are you sure about that? I am. Hey, baby, come here. Why does it sound so illegal when it's Todoroki who's saying the word, baby? Your mind's just unholy. Todoroki held the child but he was immediately refused by the mini Bakugo. Did he just blasted me? Oh my god. The baby continued attacking Todoroki. No, stop, kid, god. Bakugo chuckled. No way dude, you're enjoying this so much. Shut up. First time he became proud was when his child turned into a menace. Hey, Iharu, come here. Who the fairyland is Iharu? The kid crawled towards Midoriya. What the F? Ah, what a well-behaved boy you are. What do you want to eat? What the H? He turned full on mama mode. Nah, that was a quick switch. In the late evening. No way. He's still crying. I'm gonna king myself. It's already 12 a.m. and the class 1A is still stuck inside Midoriya's room. Kaminari holding a baby bottle while sitting beside the toddler, while his eyes are growing dark bags underneath. Biwahahaha bro, you almost look like Shinso. At least you've a similarity now. Ha 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 ha, Zero did him dirty. Nah, shut up, dude. I'm concentrating with this baby bottle. You idiots, you should have left that kid in the closet. He'll fade after a few days. How can you be so mean to your kid, man? Look at his chubby cheeks. How could you bear watching him cry and be left alone in your dark closet? The H I care. Is Midoriya not back yet? He went to buy a milk and never came back. Ha 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 ha, bro forgot that All Might's his role model and not all for one. Nah, it'd be the end of the world if AFO had a child and developed a grudge because he wasn't able to make his father proud. You just called me out in 128 languages. Ha 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 ha. Dude, your face. It turned purple. Oh my god, Kaminari is dying. Ha, serves him right. Step aside. We need to give him a CPR. Call Shin, I want him to be the one to do it. Talk about yourself, Grappius. Why is Mineta here? I'd want to take care of the baby, just in case his mother shows up. What mother? Oh, Midoriya, you're back. What took you so long? Deizuku, I just got caught up with some thieves. Ha, why the flop would there be thieves inside you? Ha ha ha, I guess things like that happen. Don't tell me you went outside school just to buy this brat's milk. I know, why would I? Don't flicking lie, you're so bad at it. Okay, I went outside. Then, I'm right, you're so f-king stupid, why'd you even go out just for a dang milk? This is for your kid. That brat is not my kid. It is yours, no matter how you look into it. This kid right here might now be from you biologically, but he is still your responsibility. He is. Bakugo, don't be mean. Besides, Deku is right, and the kid isn't even his in the first place. Yeah, what a SHT advice, round face. Come on, can't we be mature about this? Fighting over this isn't necessary, Bakugo. Uraraka and Midoriya were spot on with what they said. This is your issue to handle. Your friends are just trying to be helpful. F off, I didn't ask any of you all's help. Okay, then, I think we should give Bakugo some time alone to clear his head. Yeah, let's head to bed, everyone. We still have training tomorrow. We better get some sleep. It's already 1 a.m. Are you kidding? I have an early training with Shin tomorrow. Denki ran away as soon as he could. At least brush your teeth, Kami. I already did. Gotta sleep, guys. Looks like someone's excited to get up. It's like he'll wake up early tomorrow. He can't even manage to get out of bed, even with 20 alarm clocks going off. Yo, I can hear you, you know. Don't electrocute your alarm clock just because you're pissed off, thanks. I won't. Guys, chill. The first rays of sunlight streamed through Midoriya's curtains, casting a soft glow across his room. He blinked awake, his mind foggy from the previous night's events. He felt a small weight on his chest and looked down to see Aiharu, the tiny toddler curled up and clutching his shirt, sleeping peacefully. Midoriya sighed, recalling how the toddler had come into their lives so suddenly. Bakugo had somehow upset a lady, leading to Aiharu's appearance, and now, due to some strange twist of fate, Midoriya was seen as Aiharu's mama. The quiet was unusual. Midoriya usually woke up to the sounds of his classmates getting ready for the day. He carefully shifted Aiharu off his chest and sat up, glancing around. Something felt off. Bakugo was sprawled out on the floor, using his own hoodie as a pillow. He stirred, eyes squinting open as he sat up and stretched. I'm surprised Kachan stayed despite his stubbornness last night. He's concerned about the child after all. Oi, Izuku. Morning. Why is it so damn quiet? Midoriya frowned, standing up and moving to the door. I don't know, Kachan. Let's check it out. They tiptoed out of the room, not wanting to wake Aiharu, and ventured into the hallway. It was eerily silent, with no signs of their classmates. Where the H is everyone? Bakugo muttered, checking the common room and finding it empty. Did they all just disappear? Midoriya noticed a note taped to the refrigerator door. He pulled it off and read it aloud. Hey, Midoriya and Bakugo. We figured you two needed some space to sort things out with Aiharu, so we've gone out for the day. Good luck, Class 1A. Bakugo's face twisted in irritation. Those idiots think we need space. Like we're some kind of couple dealing with a kid. Midoriya's cheeks revealed a tint of blush as he forced a smile from escaping. I think they just want us to figure out how to handle this situation together, Kachan. We can do this. Bakugo grunted, clearly not pleased but not arguing either. Why the H would I handle this? They returned to Midoriya's room, where Aiharu was now sitting up, rubbing his eyes. When he saw them, his face lit up. Aiharu reached his arms towards them. Mama, Papa. Bakugo stiffened at the words, his expression conflicted. Did the brat, kid just call me what? Midoriya, however, smiled and picked Aiharu up, balancing him on his hip. Good morning, Aiharu. Are you hungry? Aiharu nodded enthusiastically, his little hands clinging to Midoriya's shirt. Hungry. Midoriya glanced at Bakugo. We need to figure out how to take care of him, Kachan. We can't just leave him alone. Bakugo sighed, clearly frustrated but resigned. Yeah, let's get this over with, dang it. They made their way to the kitchen, Iharu nestled comfortably in Midoriya's arms. As they rummaged through the fridge and cupboards, Bakugo found some eggs and bread while Midoriya prepared some fruit and yogurt. We need to find something he can eat safely. Bakugo grumbled but started cracking eggs into a bowl, while Midoriya sliced bananas. Yeah, I'll make sure he doesn't choke. Why does it sound like a threat when you were saying it, Kachan? Ha, are you insulting me? As they worked together to prepare breakfast, an uneasy truce settled between them. Despite their differences, they both knew they had to figure out how to take care of Iharu. Sitting down at the table, they placed a small plate in front of Iharu, who eagerly dug into the scrambled eggs and fruit. Bakugo watched him, a strange mix of annoyance and reluctant fondness on his face. Izuku. Izuku looked at the man, his voice was unusually soft. About last night, I didn't mean to. Midoriya cut him off with a gentle smile. It's okay, Kachan, I know this is all really overwhelming. But we'll figure it out together, okay? Bakugo looked away, his expression conflicted. Yeah, whatever, just don't expect me to get all mushy about it. Midoriya laughed softly, reaching out to ruffle Iharu's hair. Wouldn't dream of it. As they finished their breakfast, the reality of their new situation started to sink in. They had a lot to learn about taking care of Iharu, but for now, they were in it together, and that was a start. Let me do the dishes. Midoriya settled Iharu on the carpet and let him play with some car toys that were given by Shiro last night. F off, watch the kid, I'll do it. Bakugo gently shoved Midoriya, but a strange expression appeared on the freckled boy's face. What? Bakugo's frown never left his forehead since he woke up this morning. I think you should stop cursing in front of the kid, Kachan. Oh, should I mean? God d***. The blonde clicked his tongue really loud when he realized that he was worsening the situation instead of stopping his cusses. It's fine, I understand that it's hard to suddenly stop a habit. Ha, did you think there's anything hard for me? I didn't mean it like that. Midoriya raised both his hands in defense. Bakugo's frown softened a little. Move, I'll do the dishes. Ha, yeah, I'll go back to the common room and play with Iharu. Come back to us after you finish washing, yeah, whatever. Just get out of here, it's cramped. The dorm's kitchen was filled with the soft, muted light of a cloudy morning. Outside, the sky was a blanket of gray, and the world seemed wrapped in a quiet, subdued atmosphere. Bakugo stood at the sink, sleeves rolled up, methodically washing the breakfast dishes. The warm water and the repetitive scrubbing motions offered him a moment of clarity and reflection. In the adjacent common room, Midoriya's laughter mixed with the cheerful giggles of Iharu. The sound carried into the kitchen, a reminder of the new and unexpected reality Bakugo found himself in. He scowled at the memory of the previous night's argument. His friends had confronted him about Iharu, frustrated with his refusal to acknowledge the child or accept their help. Their words had cut deep, and in his typical fashion, Bakugo had reacted with anger and denial. Why the H did this have to happen? All because I pissed off some lady by feeding her dog corn. Now I've got a kid based on me, and Deku's his mama. Bakugo paused, the plate halfway to the drying rack, and glanced towards the common room. Midoriya was sitting on the floor, Iharu in his lap, playing with a toy car. Midoriya's face was lit with a gentle smile, his eyes crinkling at the corners as he laughed at something Iharu did. That dang Deku, always like this. Always putting others first. Always so dang selfless. He turned back to the sink, his mind drifting back to that moment when he tried his hardest to convince him to go back to UA. Midoriya had always been the one to throw himself into danger for others, never hesitating, never backing down. It was a quality Bakugo had mocked and resented, yet grudgingly admired. Midoriya's unyielding selflessness, his innate drive to protect and care for those around him, it was something Bakugo had never fully understood. Why do you do it, Deku? How can you keep giving and giving, even when you've got nothing left? The sound of Midoriya's laughter broke through his thoughts again. Bakugo glanced back, watching as Midoriya gently lifted Iharu into the air, the toddler's giggles filling the room. There was something so natural, so effortless, about the way Midoriya cared for Iharu. It was a stark contrast to Bakugo's own rough, unrefined approach. Maybe I've got something to learn from you after all. Bakugo admitted silently, his grip on the sponge loosening. You've always been the better man. The better hero. Maybe it's time I start trying to understand why. He finished the last of the dishes and dried his hands, a sense of reluctant acceptance settling over him. He wasn't perfect, and he had a long way to go, but perhaps there was a chance for him to change, to grow. Bakugo walked into the common room, his presence immediately drawing the attention of Midoriya and Aiharu. The toddler's face lit up, his tiny arms reaching out towards Bakugo. "Papa." Midoriya looked up, his eyes warm with understanding and a hint of surprise. "Hey, Kachan." Finished with the dishes, Bakugo nodded, moving to sit beside them. He picked up Aiharu, the toddler's infectious joy bringing an unexpected smile to his face. Yeah, as they played with Aiharu, the cloudy morning light continued to fill the dorm, casting a soft glow on the three of them. For the first time, Bakugo felt a flicker of hope. Maybe, just maybe, they could navigate this strange new chapter together and come out stronger on the other side. After a while, Midoriya glanced out the window and noticed the clouds beginning to part, revealing patches of blue sky. He turned to Bakugo with a thoughtful expression. "Hey, Kachan, the weather's clearing up. How about we take Aiharu for a walk? It might be nice to get some fresh air." Bakugo looked out the window, noting the improvement in the weather. The idea of getting out of the dorm and taking a break from the tension appealed to him. He glanced at Aiharu, who was now busy trying to climb onto his lap. "Yeah, that works. Let's do it." Midoriya beamed, quickly getting to his feet and gathering Aiharu's things. "Great, I'll grab his jacket and some snacks. You think you can handle getting him ready?" Bakugo snorted, a hint of his usual bravado returning. "Of course, I can. Watch and learn, Deku." He carefully helped Aiharu into a small jacket, the toddler giggling and squirming in his arms. Midoriya returned with a small backpack filled with essentials, including a bottle of water and a few toys. Once they were all set, the three of them made their way outside. The air was crisp and fresh, the lingering coolness of the morning giving way to a pleasant warmth as the sun began to break through the clouds. Aiharu's eyes widened with wonder as he looked around, clearly fascinated by the sights and sounds of the outdoors. Midoriya walked beside Bakugo, who carried Aiharu on his shoulders. The toddler's delighted laughter echoed through the quiet grounds, drawing smiles from both young men. They strolled along the path that wound around the dormitory, the world around them coming to life with the sounds of birds chirping and leaves rustling in the gentle breeze. Bakugo found himself relaxing, the tension of the past day melting away with each step. He glanced at Midoriya, who was chatting animatedly with Aiharu, pointing out various flowers and trees along the way. Bakugo couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude towards his rival. But of course, he would never admit it. Bakugo and Midoriya walked through the park, with Aiharu toddling between them, holding their hands. The sun was shining brightly, and the park was filled with the sounds of children playing and birds chirping. Bakugo seemed deep in thought, his usual scowl softened as he watched Aiharu try to chase after a butterfly. "He's really cute, isn't he? HMPH. He's a handful, that's what he is. I know this whole situation is weird, but we need to figure out how to deal with it together." Yeah, I get it, doesn't mean I have to like it." Aiharu giggled, his tiny feet stumbling as he tried to run. He looked up at Midoriya with wide eyes. "Mama, look, Butterfly." "I see, Aiharu, it's beautiful, isn't it? TCH, butterflies, what a waste of time." Midoriya chuckled, shaking his head. They walked over to a bench and sat down, letting Aiharu play in the grass nearby. "You know, Kachan, he's got a lot of your traits. Stubborn, determined, loud. Gee, thanks for the compliment." There was a moment of silence as they watched Aiharu explore. Bakugo's expression softened, and he sighed. I never thought I'd have to deal with something like this. A kid, especially not like this. I know it's a lot, but you don't have to do it alone. We're all here to help." "Yeah, I know, I don't want to screw this up. Not like I screw everything else up." "You won't, Kachan, you're stronger than you think. And Aiharu, he needs you. We both do." Aiharu toddled back over, holding a dandelion in his chubby fist. He handed it to Bakugo with a big smile. "For you, Papa." Bakugo took the dandelion, staring at it for a moment before ruffling Aiharu's hair. "Thanks, kid." Midoriya smiled, watching the interaction. He reached out and placed a hand on Bakugo's shoulder. "We'll figure this out, Kachan. Together." Bakugo looked at Midoriya, a hint of gratitude in his eyes. "Yeah, whatever." They sat there for a while longer, watching Aiharu play and enjoying the peaceful moment in the park, knowing that they had a lot to figure out since they don't know when this all is going to end. Bakugo and Midoriya sat on the bench, enjoying the rare peaceful moment. Aiharu toddled around, chasing butterflies and picking flowers. Suddenly, they heard a familiar voice. Bakugo, Midoriya. They turned to see Aizawa walking toward them, holding Eri's hand. Eri's eyes lit up when she saw Aiharu. Hi, Deku ni. Hi, Katsu ni. Who's that? Midoriya smiled and waved. Bakugo just grunted in acknowledgement. Hi, Eri. This is Aiharu. Well, it's a long story. Aizawa raised an eyebrow, looking between Bakugo, Midoriya, and the toddler. He seemed more alert than usual, suspicion evident in his eyes. Explain. Bakugo sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. It's complicated, sensei. Aiharu's kinda, my kid. Sort of. Bakugo, you're going to need to be more specific. I already know the root of this, but why are you two playing pretend? Midoriya stepped in, trying to explain. It's my fault, sensei. A lady got mad at Kachan and turned her dog into Aiharu based on his behavior. I mean, you already knew that, of course. Then I accidentally touched Aiharu, and now he sees me as his mama. Aizawa stared at them for a long moment, processing the information. Finally, he sighed and pinched the bridge of his nose. Only you two could get into a situation like this. Eri approached Aiharu, who was staring curiously at her. Hi, Aiharu, I'm Eri. Do you want to play? Aiharu looked at Midoriya, who nodded encouragingly. He then turned back to Eri and smiled. Okay, play. Ha, he reminds me of Kachan a lot. Look at his eyebrows meeting to frown, and his grin. I hope Eri-chan won't get F'd out. Did you just call me F-key? The two toddlers ran off to play together, leaving the adults to talk. So, what's the plan? We're still figuring that out. I'll kill the lady if I see her. Well, you'd better figure it out fast. You can't have a toddler running around the dorms indefinitely. We know, sensei. We're working on it, but it's actually been kinda nice. Seeing this side of Kachan, Aizawa glanced at Bakugo, who looked away, slightly embarrassed. Just make sure you handle it responsibly. This isn't something you can afford to mess up. Yeah, we get it, sensei. Eri and Aiharu's laughter echoed through the park as they played, bringing a small smile to Aizawa's usually stoic face. Look, Haru-chan, a swing. Do you want to go on the swing? Yes, swing. Gun blast that swing. No, let's stay behave. It's cool that way, Haru-chan. Behave is cool. Yeah. Aizawa watched them for a moment before turning back to Bakugo and Midoriya. If you need any help, don't hesitate to ask. This is a unique situation, is hard to figure out. Since the day you came to the office about the kid, I started looking it up, but no crime related to this showed up. I guess Bakugo just pissed her off to the core. Thank you, sensei. We'll keep that in mind. We also need to apologize to the lady if we see her. Aiharu ran back to Bakugo, tugging on his pants. Papa, push swing. Bakugo looked at the little boy, then at Midoriya, who nodded encouragingly. He sighed but stood up, taking Aiharu's hand. Alright, let's go to the swing. As Bakugo walked away with Aiharu, Eri grabbed Midoriya's hand. Come on, Deku ni. You can push me on the swing too. Midoriya laughed and followed, glancing back at Aizawa, who gave him a small nod of approval. Alright, Eri, let's go. They spent the rest of the afternoon at the park, pushing the toddlers on the swings and playing games. Aizawa stayed nearby, keeping a watchful eye on all of them, but allowing them the space to bond and figure things out. As the sun began to set, Bakugo and Midoriya gathered up the sleepy toddlers, ready to head back to the dorms. Aizawa walked with them, still slightly bewildered but supportive. Remember, take this seriously. You're responsible for Aiharu now. We got it, sensei. We'll handle it. Thank you for your help, sensei. Aizawa watched them go, Aiharu giggling while in Bakugo's arms. Bye-bye Haru-chan. Let's play again sometimes. Bye-bye Eri-ne. Bye-bye, Oji-chan. Did the kid just call me Gramps? Aiharu, sensei is not a grandpa, okay. You can call him, sensei, too. Bye, sensei. Sorry about that. Aizawa sighed and muttered under his breath. This is still a piece of headache. Next thing you know, we'll have a whole daycare center in the dorms. And I'm not volunteering to babysit. As soon as they got back to the dorms, Midoriya plopped on his bed. Ha! Gave up already. I know you would, nerd. Midoriya groaned. I'm not. Just tired. A bit. Doesn't seem like a bit to me. Here. The blonde threw a towel and Midoriya caught it without looking. Iharu giggled in awe. Take a bath, nerd. Get up. You can't sleep stinking. You're overreacting. I didn't even sweat today, never went to train. I don't care. Get up. Be hygienic. Arg. You talk like I never take my bath. I can't even get up, Kachan. You're taking your mother role seriously, huh? Even your back turned into that of a lady's. Papa, what, Pa? Why are you suddenly crying? Oi, stop it. The kid continued bawling his eyes out. Midoriya wasn't budging either, the man was sleeping like a log. Hell, what am I supposed to do with all these bullshit? The kid kept on crying, so Bakugo threw a slice of cheese on his forehead. Miraculously, he stopped. Ha, TikTok's not a piece of useless crap for once. I should give him baby formula. For Hitler's sake, kill me now. This nerd's also another problem, sleeping like a tired grandma and didn't even take a fucking bath. Bakugo did everything that the kid needed before going to bed. He cleaned him, changed his diapers, and even waited for him to finish the bottle of baby formula. He was so pissed off that Deku didn't even budge a little from his position. King Deku, sleeping on me like that. Should have left the kid somewhere they couldn't find after all. These idiots were really a headache. Thought they're gonna help, but they left the King dorm for a whole ass day. Suddenly, he almost turned nauseous, realizing that he has been muttering. Did fucking Deku influence Mui to be a shitty muttering Shut up. What the? At this point, I just wish Shigaraki to kidnap me. The blonde lied down as well, feeling the tension in his head building up from the stress of the kid. A few minutes later, he was jolted awake when he felt a weight on top of him. Why the fuck are you hovering me? Oi, Midoriya crawled on top of him, both of his thick thighs spread on both sides of the blonde's abdomen, riding him. Oh oi, what are you? He leaned in closer, ghosting his lips over the blonde's. Bakugo realized that he was a weak man, and gave in to the sensation, putting both his calloused hands around Izuku's slim waist. No one told me that this is gonna be a part of his mother role. His hands continued to go upwards, to places he never thought it'd reach one day. Midoriya's just there on top of him, holding his voice as much as possible. Why don't you let it out, Izuku? The man never said anything back. Oi. Suddenly, Bakugo's eyes snapped open, a gasp escaping his lips as he found himself back in the safety of his own bed. Was it? The remnants of the dream lingered, haunting him with its implications and leaving him feeling disoriented and unsettled. Shaken, Bakugo quickly got up, yet something in between his legs made him sit back down, grab the nearest blanket, and cover the threatening wood growing down there. Kachan, are you okay? His face flushed as soon as he saw the guy who was just in his dreams, standing in the doorway and wearing an apron, with no shirt underneath. What the fuck? Izuku put some clothes on. Huh, I'm wearing pants though. When did you become a stripper? What? Stop overreacting, I'm just shirtless, I still have pants. It's too hot anyway, it's summer. By the way, why are you covering yourself with, get out? What? I didn't do anything. Why are you suddenly mad? Get the fuck out. Just get out. Oh okay, call me if you need anything. Iharu and I are gonna be in the kitchen. He went about his morning routine, trying to shake off the residual effects of his dream. But as he sat down for breakfast with Midoriya and Iharu, the memory of the dream lingered like a dark cloud over his head. Bakugo couldn't bring himself to meet Midoriya's gaze, the shame and embarrassment of his subconscious thoughts weighing heavy. He was determined to bury those inappropriate feelings deep down and focus on being a responsible parent, but the ghost of that dream would continue to haunt him, casting a dark shadow over his interactions with Midoriya. Where the hell are those idiots? What? Who? Our classmates? Who else? Why are you suddenly looking for them? They're coming back, right? They better be. That weird hair promised to play Jenga with me. Why are you suddenly a clingy friend? And when did you start playing Jenga? The hell I know. What is going on with you? You've been weird since this morning. I don't f***ing know. Suddenly, there was a flash of light coming from Iharu. Why is he glowing? Oh my god. Then, the kid shrunk into an even younger version. That is a kid straight out of the womb. What the hell? Midoriya covered the blonde's mouth. Don't cuss anymore. This might be related to your changes in behavior. What the f***? Kachan. Midoriya tightened his grip on Bakugo's mouth, the intensity sending a shiver through the blonde, causing him to stagger back and trip over a toy. They both fell to the ground in a tangle, Midoriya hovering above, mirroring a tantalizingly vivid dream. Izuku, get the up. Ah, yes. Before Midoriya could even begin to get up, the door flew open, revealing their classmates whose jaws dropped to the floor. Oh, you already planning to make baby number 2? Oh, no, it's not what you think. We're just role-playing for Aiharu. Midoriya stammered, desperately trying to explain the situation. Their classmates' faces contorted with varying degrees of disgust and confusion. Don't tell me. Oh my god, Midoriya, that is illegal to show to a kid. Mina exclaimed, her voice a mix of horror and disbelief. Huh, it's not what you think. We were role-playing, like a donkey and a knight. Midoriya blurted out, his face growing redder by the second. What the h? Do I look like a donkey to you, nerd? Bakugo's temper flaring despite the awkward situation. Isn't it supposed to be a horse and a knight? Donkey is so baby girl. Hagakure added with a giggle, her invisible form somehow conveying her amusement. Very croquette. It was real. Considering that Midoriya was talking about a donkey and a knight rather than a horse and a knight, his intentions were indeed pure. I'm not quite sure about Bakugo's, though. Why are you talking like a burnt-up philosopher? You should be asking Tuya that. I wasn't the one who got burnt. Todoroki replied calmly, his face as stoic as ever. Why are you roasting your own brother? Shiro was bewildered by the turn of the conversation. This is elite. Everything about this looks like an innocent act, yet Dark Shadow is telling me that the inner vibe is made of pure spice. What is spice? Todoroki seemed genuinely curious. Who knows? I only know ice spice. Oh, someone has a quirk combination like mine, but the fire is a chili instead. Spice, as in a scene straight out of the Hub. What's Hub? It's Seg. Don't say anything more. You're gonna ruin people's innocence, Mina. But why are we avoiding the fact that we only left you two for a day and you were already up to something sus? Mina's eyes narrowing suspiciously. No one's avoiding it, Mina. Midoriya's face still flushed with embarrassment. Well, it looks like no one's really avoiding it since you haven't got off your donkey. Midoriya, mortified, extended his arms for help while covering his face. Todoroki, without looking, he felt a rough hand grab his outstretched one. Gathering his remaining courage, he looked up to see Bakugo holding his arm, both still in that awkward position. Midoriya's eyes questioned Bakugo's actions. The blonde's face showed a hint of red from embarrassment. Kachan, Bakugo subtly whispered, tell them to go outside for a bit because we need to do something important for Aiharu. Huh, just do as I say, Izuku. But they'll get suspicious, please. Midoriya had never heard that word from Bakugo before. It compelled him to comply. Guys, can you go outside for a bit? There are some important routines we're still figuring out with Aiharu. Promise, we'll be quick. Sorry. Huh, what's going on? Will the baby be okay? Yeah, hopefully. I'll call you guys as soon as we're done here. Sorry again. Midoriya reassured them, his voice steady despite the chaos. Nah, it's fine, dude. Anything for cutie patootie, Aiharu-chan. What's up with your baby talk? Scary. Even Granny walked away. Granny was too flabbergasted she ate her own bat to stop herself from doing murder. Why are you guys always so random? Mental instability it is, Shoji concluded, his multiple arms crossing in front of him. As soon as they were out of sight, Midoriya turned to Bakugo, now sitting on the sofa, his posture tense. How did you get there so fast? Shut up. Why are you crouching like that? Are you feeling unwell? No response. Hey, Kachan, what's wrong? What about the routine we were figuring out? What was up with that anyway? Shut up, I'm trying to concentrate. Concentrate on what? You've been staring down at your... Midoriya paused, his cheeks turning an even deeper shade of red. Oh my god, don't tell me you're having a flag-raising moment down there. Oh my god, that's why I was trying to play the national anthem inside my head, you dang nerd. No, that trick doesn't work. Think about a mermaid with curly hair, or Mina being bald with a shiny head. Don't intertwine me with your weird-ass thoughts, nerd. Excuse me, weren't you the one who was having a construction of the Great Wall of China there? I was just trying to help. Trying to help when it was all because of you. How kind. Because of me. Midoriya's blush spread wider, his freckles standing out against the red of his cheeks. I said, it was all your fault. Bakugo looked away, clicking his tongue in frustration. Oi, are you two done fighting? Kaminari yelled from outside, his voice echoing through the hall. Yeah, I mean, we weren't fighting, just panicking over raising Aiharu. Mina barged in, her eyebrows almost crossed in doubt. Or were you trying to raise something else? Good stuff.
It's better than drugs, Jeremy.
The common room was a whirlwind of chaos as the students of Class 1A gathered for brunch, the remnants of the earlier commotion still lingering in the air. Plates clattered, conversations overlapped, and the aroma of various breakfast foods filled the room. All right, everyone, let's eat, Kirishima announced, his voice booming above the din as he set down a platter of pancakes. Yeah, let's dig in. Kaminari reached for a stack of waffles. Despite the spread of food, the primary topic of discussion was Aiharu's sudden transformation. Okay, let's get serious here. How did Aiharu suddenly age backwards? It's like something out of a sci-fi movie. I think it's a quirk, Shiro suggested, munching on a piece of toast. Maybe Aiharu has a time manipulation quirk. That would explain the sudden change. But he's just a baby. Can babies even have fully developed quirks? Uraraka countered, frowning. Maybe he inherited it from his parents. You know, like a recessive gene or something. Parents, are you a dang idiot? My quirk is explosion, not some time rewind or manipulation F. I also said that it could be from a recessive gene. We don't have anyone like that from our family tree. I'm surprised Bakugo knows his ancestors' quirks. What is recessive gene? A recessive gene is a segment of genetic material that typically remains hidden unless paired with another recessive gene. This gene has a lower chance of influencing an individual's traits because it is often masked by the presence of a dominant gene. For a recessive gene to be expressed, an individual must inherit it from both parents, resulting in a homozygous recessive genotype. Consequently, the expression of recessive traits is less common in the population compared to dominant traits. Oh my god, marry me. She's down bad, I said, we don't have anything like that in my bloodline. Chill, you ain't his only parent, you know. Izuku was quirkless, Midoriya gasped, flabbergasted by Bakugo's statement. Ka-chan, don't remind me of the bad old days. Oh, I can smell a breakup. What if it's not a quirk at all? We're still going to continue with the theories. What if it's a curse placed on Bakugo for his past actions? Curses aren't real, Todoroki said flatly, pouring syrup over his pancakes. Don't be so sure, Todoroki. Mineta warned, his eyes wide. There are a lot of strange things in this world. Maybe Bakugo angered some ancient spirit or something. That's ridiculous. There's no such thing as curses. Mineta watched too much Jujutsu Kaisen. Sukuna's cursed spirit got in his head a lil too much. Ha 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 ha, for real. He hasn't even removed Gojo from his profile picture. Nah, that was far too delusional. Delulu is Solulu, they say. These idiots and their second grader syndrome. Then how do you explain what happened? Midoriya asked, his voice calmer. There has to be some logical explanation. I've got it, Kaminari exclaimed, his face lighting up. What if Aiharu is a time traveler from the future? He came back to warn us about something, and the transformation was just a side effect of the time travel. Everyone paused, considering the wild theory. That's actually not the worst idea, Kirishima admitted, scratching his head. But how would a baby time travel? Wouldn't he need some kind of device or quirk to do that? Maybe someone sent him back, like a future hero or something. Or maybe, Aiharu is the reincarnation of a powerful hero from the past, and his transformation is part of his rebirth process. Okay, now that's just absurd. Stop with the crazy theories. We need real answers. But what if the answer is crazy? We can't rule anything out. Alright, detectives, let's focus on what we know. Aiharu was given to Ka-chan after an incident with a lady and her dog. The transformation happened suddenly, with no apparent trigger. Or maybe it's all just a coincidence. We should focus on finding out more about the lady who gave Bakugo the child. She might have the answers we need. Agreed. We need to investigate her and see if she knows anything about Aiharu's transformation. As the students continued to brainstorm, their theories growing wilder and more elaborate, the common room buzzed with the energy of young detectives determined to solve the mystery. Unbeknownst to them, Aiharu lay in his crib nearby, his innocent eyes watching the commotion with a curious glint, as if aware of the part he played in this peculiar, unfolding drama. Bro, I've got a wild theory. Kaminari sprinted over to the couch, holding a manga up like a sacred text. Save it, man. Your theories are all from those cursed manga you read. No, seriously, just hear me out. What if Iharu's existence is because of his parents' actions? Dude, you just rephrased the word, segs, in a PG way. Of course, Iharu exists because two people F. I swear, if anyone says another unhinged word, I'm taping all your mouths shut. Orders from your class rep. Lita interjected, waving a roll of tape for emphasis. I was expecting Zero to be the one taping our mouths. I can bribe him to let me go, unlike Lita, he's a tough nut. A few moments later, Midoriya snapped out of his daze when an idea popped into his head. Hey, Kachan, didn't I mention that his transformation might be linked to your change in behavior? Bakugo hummed noncommittally as he stirred his coffee at the countertop. Once he finished, he walked back to Izuku, who was sitting in the common room, looking lost in thought again. What about it? Bakugo asked, taking a sip and sitting down at the other end of the couch. I was thinking, since Iharu was given to you as a lesson, maybe any lack of progress in your behavior directly affects him. In this case, Iharu aged backward. Could it be possible that you did something terrible a day or hours before his transformation? Do you remember doing anything like that? I don't know. I can't vividly remember what I did wrong last night. I was just acting like usual. Bakugo muttered, frustration evident in his tone. Then, that makes this a harder case for us. His transformation doesn't change anything anyway, he's still the same burden to me. You should probably stop making strong comments like that, Kachan. You don't want him to become a literal baby fresh from the womb, do you? Maybe we could age him back to the age of a baby in the womb if I did more terrible things. Bakugo retorted sarcastically. Please don't even think about trying that. Just then, Kaminari flopped down between them, earning a fierce glare from Bakugo. Yo, what are your plans for later, guys? I'm gonna take care of Iharu like usual, since he's more vulnerable at this age. You're such a good person, Midoriya. What about you, bro? Kaminari turned to Bakugo. Don't ferry with me, brain dead. I don't plan on reading a cursed manga with you. That's mean. I and the squad are gonna watch the Haikyuu movie. Kaminari pouts. On that illegal site with lots of corn ads again. No way, we bought a membership. We've been watching anime legally for a while now. Kaminari defended. Right, Mina chimed in, appearing behind them. You've been missing out since the day you married Midoriya and started a family with him. We did not do such a thing, Mina. Midoriya stammered, his face turning crimson. Now, transfer seats here and sit beside me, thanks. Mina said, pushing Bakugo further to the middle of the couch and taking his initial position. She pulled Denki beside her, making him sit between her and Bakugo. Now, Bakugo was sitting right next to Midoriya. It's cramped in here. There are so many couches there, stupid F-curs. Bakugo yelled, squirming uncomfortably. As the bickering continued, Kirishima and Jiro walked in, curious about the commotion. Whoa, what's going on here? Just Bakugo being Bakugo. Kaminari grinned. Typical. Jiro added, smirking as she leaned against the wall. So, what's the plan for today, besides Bakugo losing his mind? Midoriya chuckled, looking at Bakugo. Well, Kachan and I are figuring out this whole Iharu situation. It's complicated. Kirishima nodded, giving Bakugo a supportive pat on the shoulder. Hang in there, bro. We're here if you need us. Bakugo grumbled something incoherent, still flushed from the earlier teasing. Don't clown around, you're gonna watch anime sheet. I can do this by myself. Jiro rolled her eyes playfully. Sure you do, Bakugo. Sure you do. Just then, a loud wail echoed from Midoriya's room. Everyone turned to look, concern etched on their faces. Bakugo's face twisted in panic as he awkwardly tried to stand. Dang it, why won't he stop crying? Here, let me help. Midoriya offered, getting up swiftly. Bakugo reluctantly nodded. Fine, just make him stop. Midoriya disappeared into his room, and the cries gradually subsided, leaving Bakugo looking both relieved and embarrassed. See, not so hard, Midoriya said, re-entering the common room with a now quiet Iharu in his arms. TCH, whatever. Bakugo muttered, crossing his arms. Mina, never one to miss an opportunity, chimed in again. Ah, look at the happy family. Kachan, you should really start calling Midoriya, Mama, now. Bakugo's face turned a deeper shade of red. Shut up, Ashido. Yeah, Kachan, you should embrace your new family role. Before Bakugo could retort, Kirishima stepped in. Alright, guys, give him a break. This is new territory for him. Jiro, still smirking, teased. Yeah, parenting is tough, especially when you're the explosive type. Bakugo groaned. I hate all of you. As the chaos continued, Mineta peeked into the room, eyes wide with curiosity. What's all the noise about? Bakugo shot him a death glare. Don't even start, Grapehead. Ignoring Bakugo's threat, Mineta looked at Midoriya. So, how's it feel to be a mom? Midoriya chuckled, shaking his head. It's different, that's for sure. Kaminari, still seated between Mina and Bakugo, decided to push his luck further. Hey, maybe we should have a baby shower for Aiharu. Bakugo's eyes widened in horror. No way in hell. Mina clapped her hands excitedly. That's a great idea, we can have cake and games in. No, Bakugo roared, his patience wearing thin. Kirishima laughed heartily. Come on, Bakugo, it might be fun. You could use a little celebration. Before Bakugo could explode further, a loud crash echoed through the common room. Everyone turned to see Mineta sprawled on the floor, having tripped over a stray toy. Really, Mineta? Jiro sighed, shaking her head. Bakugo took the opportunity to change the subject. Why the hell are there toys all over the place? This dorm is turning into a daycare. Midoriya smiled softly, bouncing Aiharu gently. We'll clean up, Kachan. It's part of the job now. Bakugo grumbled but didn't argue, too exhausted to continue the fight. Come on, let's watch the movie. Mina stood up, stretching her arms. You guys got popcorn already? I've already prepared the tea. Nah, I haven't cooked it yet. There's no popcorn yet, are you kidding me? Jiro, calm down. Your BP is jumping too high. Let Danks cook it, it was his job anyway. Let's go watch it already. I heard Karu is so hot. Oh my god, yes. Rail me please. Nah, she's down bad. I'm just gonna order some popcorn, I can't let y'all gobble up Tsukishima's handsomeness alone. They left, looking like they already forgot about Midoriya and Bakugo. Kachan, I think we need to get Aiharu some new clothes. The ones I bought don't fit him anymore. Midoriya said, glancing up nervously. Yeah, whatever, buy whatever you want, Bakugo replied, barely looking up. Could you actually buy them for him? I can't leave the dorms since there's no one else to take care of him. Why should I go to all that trouble? Because he's your kid, we already talked about this. Midoriya said seriously, his tone making it clear he wasn't backing down. Bakugo felt like he had to agree or else he'd be Detroit smashed 100%. Bakugo sighed, feeling cornered. Fine, but I'm not going out. I'll get someone else to do it. Just then, Uraraka popped up in front of them, grinning.
Did I hear that right? You need someone to shop for your kid?
Midoriya almost stepped back. I think Kachan already decided, Uraraka.
No way, he said he'd pay someone.
Here's the money, make sure you get the right size. If it doesn't fit, I'll kill you. Bakugo threatened, shoving some cash into Uraraka's hand. Why are you threatening her, Kachan? Stop it, I'll get the best deal I can find. Uraraka said, her grin widening as if she had an ulterior motive. If the quality is crap, I'll kill you too. No, thanks, Uraraka replied, quickly changing her mind. I just remembered I have homework to finish. She sprinted away. Midoriya sighed. I'll go, Kachan. Aiharu's asleep, so he'll be fine until I get back. Just give me the money. You sure? Bakugo asked, a hint of concern in his voice. Of course, why wouldn't I be? Midoriya replied, confused by Bakugo's sudden change in demeanor. I mean, are you sure you won't mess this up? Why are you suddenly doubting my ability to take care of my own kid? Shut up and do what you want. What's going on with you, really? Nothing. I'll take him to bed. Midoriya just nodded, still puzzled. I'll be back. Call me if anything happens. Yeah. Bakugo took Aiharu from Midoriya. Midoriya stepped outside, shivering as a cold wind hit his face. Dang, the weather changes so fast. Another gust of wind made him shiver even more. Why is it so cold? Maybe I should go back and get my jacket. Just as he was about to open the dorm's main door, it swung open, revealing Bakugo holding out a jacket. Kachan, why are you? Oh my god, what about Aiharu? Did you leave him? Shut up about that kid and take your damn jacket before you freeze to death. Yes, thank you, Midoriya stammered, feeling a strange warmth in his cheeks. When did Katsuki become so concerned for him? Take this damn umbrella too before I blast you to death. The next thing he knew, an umbrella was already hanging on his shoulder. Thanks, Midoriya muttered, as another gust of wind blew his hair upwards. He closed his eyes against the cold. When he opened his eyes, he saw Bakugo blushing as if shocked by Midoriya's face, and quickly looking away. Go away, Bakugo murmured. Midoriya replied with a quiet, yeah, not pressing the issue. Was I that ugly in his eyes that it became embarrassing for him to look at me directly? He couldn't stop thinking about Bakugo's actions as he walked towards the clothing store. The road outside UA was quiet and empty, with almost no one braving the chilly weather. Midoriya pulled the jacket tighter around himself, feeling the cold wind bite at his skin. The sky was overcast, and a light drizzle began to fall, making the air even colder. He could see his breath in the air as he walked, his footsteps echoing in the empty streets. The shops were mostly closed, their windows fogged up from the inside. The few people he did see were hurrying along, heads down against the wind. Midoriya's thoughts kept drifting back to Bakugo. Why had he blushed? Was it because of something he said? The wind picked up again, making him shiver. He finally reached the clothing store, the bell above the door jingling as he stepped inside. The warmth of the store was a welcome relief from the cold outside. He took a deep breath, trying to shake off his lingering thoughts about Bakugo. The store was quiet, with only a few other customers browsing the racks. Midoriya quickly found the baby section and began searching for clothes in Iharu's size. As he picked out a few outfits, he couldn't help but smile, thinking about how cute Iharu would look in them. After paying for the clothes, he stepped back outside, bracing himself against the cold once more. The wind had picked up even more, and the drizzle had turned into a steady rain. He opened the umbrella Bakugo had given him, grateful for the extra protection. As he made his way back to the dorms, he couldn't shake the feeling that something had changed between him and Bakugo. He wasn't sure what it was, but he knew one thing for sure: he wasn't planning on running away from the unexplainable feeling. I'm home, he called out, his voice echoing through the empty dorm. Silence greeted him, a stark contrast to the usual bustling atmosphere. He slipped off his shoes, the damp chill of the weather clinging to him. The common room, usually a hive of activity, was deserted. The kitchen too, void of any life. He had a fleeting thought of his friends gathered somewhere, probably watching the latest Haikyuu movie, while others might be training or taking advantage of the cold weather to catch up on sleep in their cozy rooms. Must be nice to sleep in such cold weather. Gotta head back to my room as soon as possible, he muttered to himself, shaking off the droplets from his slightly wet umbrella before placing it outside. As he entered the dorms fully, the stillness was interrupted by the sound of footsteps descending the stairs. Welcome home, a voice called out, breaking the silence. His eyes widened in surprise, heart skipping a beat. He looked up to see Bakugo standing there, his usual stern expression softened, though still intense. He's not frowning. It's a rare sight, really. Before he could react, Bakugo was in front of him, moving with his usual confidence and assertiveness. The paper bag he held was snatched from his grip, and a face towel was tossed toward him, landing squarely on his face. Dry off, Bakugo ordered, his voice gruff yet oddly caring. The unexpected gesture left him momentarily stunned. He could feel the heat rising to his cheeks, a stark contrast to the cold air outside. As Bakugo's footsteps faded, replaced by the rhythmic pounding of his own heartbeat, he was left in the quiet aftermath of the encounter. What was that? He stammered, peeling the towel from his face. The lingering warmth of Bakugo's presence and the simple act of care had his thoughts racing, heart still pounding in his chest. The dorm felt different now, charged with an energy that made the once cold and empty space feel a little less lonely. Oh, Midoriya, you're back already. An enthusiastic Mina appeared in the doorway, holding an empty bucket of popcorn. Yeah, there were fewer people outside, so. Why are your cheeks so red? She quickly ran toward him, examining the redness and placing her palm on his forehead. You don't have a fever though. Do you want some hot tea? No, it's fine, Mina. Maybe it was just really cold outside, he excused, knowing full well his blush was due to Bakugo's unexpected kindness. He didn't expect it to be so physically obvious. Sit down, I'm gonna brew some anyway. Let's drink it together, Mina insisted. He just nodded. He didn't want to go back to his room and risk encountering Bakugo, which would definitely make his cheeks even redder. Where are the others? He asked, taking a seat. They're at the teacher's dorm, playing with Eri. All of them? Oh, nah, only Kirishima and the squad. They left me to watch Haikyuu alone. Huh? Why? Must be lonely to be left alone like that. Mina scratched her head and began pouring the boiling tea into 2 pink cups. You know, I said some stupid things while watching it, like things I probably should have kept to myself. What, you fought? No, that's not it. Well, I said that I, Kuru, and Tsukishima should have a threesome. What? Denki got mad because he likes Tsukishima a lot. Then, I insisted he should share him with me. Things escalated quickly. He drank all of my tea, so I ate all of his popcorn to get back at him. Then everyone got pissed off because we were too noisy. They left first, and Denki followed. I couldn't bear leaving Kuru's scrumptious scenes alone, so I finished it by myself. That was really, wow. Nah, it's not a big deal. Danks and I are gonna be okay once he gets back. She turned around, holding both cups. She sat in front of him, and Midoriya sipped on the hot tea. The warmth spread through him, calming his racing thoughts. How are you and Bakugo? Midoriya almost spit out the tea. What, we were just friends. Mina's eyebrows raised. I mean, how are you guys handling the kid? What were you thinking? Don't tell me. Her eyes widened, and a smile flashed on her lips. You like him, don't you? Her mouth was immediately covered by Midoriya's black whip quirk. Oh, sorry. He retracted the whip, slightly embarrassed about his reaction. Dang, that was some hot response. Tie me up again, please. Mina laughed out loud, seeing the effect of her words on Midoriya's reddened cheeks. I don't see him that way, Mina. Yeah, I get embarrassed around him sometimes, but I see nothing more. Mina's expression became serious. I guess that's pretty normal. But why do you get embarrassed around him anyway? Did you do something inappropriate? Mina winked. No way, I just think he was acting weird. Very kind and out of his usual demeanor, you know. At that moment, Mina's eyes sparkled as if uncovering some secret. Oh my god, Midoriya, you're so mean. Why, this is the start of a romance book. Could you please elaborate, and tone it down a little? Okay, so you said Bakugo was acting really kind to you lately. He never does that with just anyone. He's been trying to change, we all know that, but he's never gone that far with anyone. Mina paused, catching her breath. And he never gave anyone a jacket and an umbrella to protect them from the cold. Midoriya's mouth slightly opened from the embarrassment. You saw that, of course. It seems like T always calls for me. No way, considering all that, it means he likes you. Midoriya's mind started to whirl. Kachan likes me. No, that can't be right. He's always so harsh. But lately, he has been different. Could he really? No, I must be overthinking it. He stared into his tea, the steam rising and blending with his confused thoughts. What if Mina is right? Kachan being kind, not frowning, giving me a towel. It's all so unlike him. But does it mean he likes me, or is he just changing? He looked up at Mina, who was watching him intently, her eyes filled with curiosity and excitement. Mina, I don't know. Maybe he's just being nice because he's trying to be a better person. Mina shook her head. Midoriya, I've known Bakugo for a while now, and trust me, he doesn't do nice unless he has a reason. And you, my friend, are that reason. Midoriya felt his heart pound even harder. The idea of Bakugo having feelings for him was both thrilling and terrifying. He didn't know how to process it. Maybe you're right, he admitted quietly, his cheeks still flushed. I'll have to think about this. Mina smiled warmly, patting his shoulder. Take your time, Midoriya. But don't be afraid to explore your feelings too. Who knows, this could be the start of something amazing. Midoriya nodded, feeling a mix of hope and anxiety. Oi, are you finished gossiping? Bakugo's rough voice jolted Midoriya out of his thoughts. The next thing he knew, he was being dragged out of the kitchen, Mina's giggles echoing behind him. Good luck, Bae, Kachan. What are you doing? I should be asking you that. What were you doing out there gossiping like you don't have a responsibility waiting for you here? They arrived at the room, and Iharu's nose was already red from crying. I couldn't make him stop. I tried. Midoriya gulped as he stared at Bakugo, who was rubbing his neck awkwardly. I'll take care of him. Yeah, I'll take a shower in my room first. I'll be back. You can take a shower in my room, Kachan. Bakugo looked back, his eyes, which had been stressed from earlier, finally softening. I'll get my things. Midoriya nodded, watching Bakugo's muscular back as he left the room. He held the baby close, feeding him with a bottle of freshly made formula. Hush now, sweetheart, you didn't really intend to exhaust Papa, did you? Midoriya's voice was soft as he spoke to the baby, trying to soothe him. He wasn't sure if he was talking to Aiharu or convincing himself that the baby wouldn't put more burden on them later. He wished he could have protected Bakugo from the quirk's curse. The baby started squirming around, then his body emitted light again. Oh my god, Ka-chan. The door banged open, nearly coming off its hinges. What the F? What is it? Bakugo paused when he saw the baby had aged up. Midoriya's jaw dropped. No F, no way. Why on earth is he shapeshifting? That wasn't shapeshifting, Ka-chan. He grew up a little. He's now, like, a 1-year-old. So you went through all that trouble to shop just for him to grow back up right after. Cool, might as well keep this baby to put you in more trouble, Izuku. Bakugo grinned, his usual I'll make you suffer expression in place. Midoriya couldn't process Bakugo's next words because he was more bothered by something else. Ka-chan, can you put on some clothes? Bakugo stared at him, and then his expression matched Midoriya's embarrassed one. You said I could take a shower here. Yeah, but put on a shirt. I'm wearing a towel on my lower half. Exactly, put on something if you're not gonna take a bath yet, or go to the bathroom and take a bath. Why are you yelling? I don't know. Bakugo's face flushed, and he ran into Midoriya's bathroom. After a while, Midoriya heard him yell from inside. Get my things from outside your room. What things? Did you get a parcel? No, just go outside and take what's there. Midoriya went outside and was shocked to see a box of clothes and other necessities. Why are your clothes here? Bakugo emerged from the bathroom, water droplets running down his muscular body. I'm gonna live here for a while. What? Why? It's exhausting to go back and forth to my room. Besides, I already sleep here at night to take care of the kid. But I didn't allow. Stop complaining. Or do you want us to stay in my room instead? Midoriya bit his lower lip, stressing out over a situation that seemed to amuse Bakugo. The blonde's smirk sent a shiver down his spine. If we stayed at Ka-chan's, it would be the same thing. We'd still be in the same room. Plus, everything would smell like him. I'd end up in a mental asylum before solving the Aiharu case from overthinking about what Mina said. Staying in his room isn't an option. Midoriya's heart raced as Bakugo stepped closer, still damp from the shower. You seriously need to relax, nerd. We're just sharing a room. But it's complicated. Complicated how? Bakugo's voice dropped an octave, the sound sending a thrill through Midoriya. Midoriya felt his face heat up. It's just, we're already dealing with Aiharu. Adding this is, Bakugo's intense gaze bore into him. Adding what? You scared of a little close proximity? Midoriya swallowed hard, his eyes darting away. No, it's not that. Just what? Bakugo's smirk widened. Afraid you'll like it. Midoriya's breath hitched. He couldn't meet Bakugo's eyes, his heart pounding in his chest. I don't know what you're talking about. Bakugo chuckled, a low, rumbling sound. Sure you don't, Deku. The tension between them was suffocating. Midoriya felt trapped, his emotions swirling in confusion and anticipation. Bakugo's smirk softened slightly as he reached out, brushing a thumb across Midoriya's burning cheek. Relax, I'm just here to help. Midoriya's eyes widened at the unexpected touch, his heart skipping a beat. Ka-chan. Yeah, Bakugo muttered, stepping back and grabbing a shirt from the box. Don't overthink it, nerd. As Bakugo pulled the shirt over his head, Midoriya couldn't help but feel a mix of relief and disappointment. The brief moment of intimacy left him reeling, his thoughts a chaotic mess. He watched Bakugo settle into the room, the blonde's presence both comforting and unnerving. As he rocked Aiharu gently, Midoriya's mind kept drifting back to Mina's words and the possibility they implied, but of course, he tried his best to shake the thought off. What do you want for dinner? What, dinner? I and Icy Hot are in charge of cooking tonight, what ya want? Why do I need to be the one to choose? Just choose. Katsudon. Katsudon is not an option, I've had enough of that she. Midoriya suppressed a laugh, Bakugo was trying so hard not to cuss. Curry. Okay. What type? Beef. Really, Deku, it will take us forever to tenderize that beef. Ha 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 ha. Just choose any meat, then. I'm fine with anything, really. TCH. Why's the kid laughing? He's just a sweet guy. What do you want for dinner, Aiharu-chan? The baby giggled, making Midoriya laugh. Any side dishes? I don't know about that, can't decide. I'll ask the group chat. Let me know about it. I'll go to the kitchen. That mother-loving icy hot better be there or else I'm gonna kick him. Ha 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 okay. And please don't kick Todoroki. In the trauma dump teacup, GC. At everyone, what side dishes do you want? We're having curry tonight, by the way. That's yum. Steamed or roasted broccoli, please. A Sazuk for the win. Potato salad, fries, mashed potatoes, potato chips. Any potato. Shredded cabbage would be great, it's simple and easy to prep. Tamagoyaki. You mother f***ers prepare those SHT, I ain't cooking all that. Midoriya asked us. What else? At everyone. Todoroki, Bakugo are offline. What happened to them? In real life? You bastard, why are you asking them more? Bakugo held Todoroki's collar, while Todoroki just stared at him flatly. Let's cook. Bakugo. F off.
Can I tell you a joke?
No, you cannot tell me a joke.
Please.
I am tired. I'm trying to cook.
Please.
You know what? No. If the joke isn't funny, I'm hitting you in the head with the pan.
Deal.
Go.
Why is dark spelled with a K and not a Z?
Why?
Because you can't see in the dark. Get it? Ah!
During dinner, the common room buzzed with the usual evening energy, classmates laughing and talking as they gathered for dinner. Plates clattered, and the aroma of freshly cooked food filled the air. Midoriya tried to help set the table, but Iharu, now a year old thanks to the quirk's effect, clung to his leg, making every step a balancing act. Hey, Iharu, come on, let go of Mama's leg, Midoriya coaxed, prying the baby's fingers loose as he tried to set a plate down without dropping it. Oi, Izuku, if you drop that, you're cleaning it up, Bakugo yelled from the kitchen, where he was furiously stirring a pot of pork curry. And watch the kid, I'm trying, Kachan, Midoriya replied, exasperated. Maybe if someone hadn't insisted on dragging me around, this would be easier. What's that supposed to mean? Bakugo snapped, turning to glare at him, curry ladle in hand. Everyone, calm down, Todoroki interjected calmly, balancing a tray of perfectly roasted broccoli. Dinner's almost ready, and we don't want any accidents. Oh, it's fine, Todoroki. Mina chimed in, hopping onto a chair. I think a food fight would be fun. Adds a little excitement. Not on my watch, Iida declared, chopping vegetables with precision. We will have a civilized meal, no exceptions. Yeah, Mr. Rule Enforcer. Kaminari teased, stealing a carrot slice from Iida's pile. Let's see how long that lasts. Denki, leave Iida alone. Jiro rolled her eyes. Last time you messed with him, we all got stuck cleaning. Oi, Pikachu, hands off the food unless you want to lose a finger. Bakugo barked, waving the curry ladle menacingly. I was just tasting, Kaminari protested, grinning. I'm the quality control my ass, Bakugo muttered, turning back to his pot. Where's the salt? I've got Todoroki handed over the salt shaker. Don't overdo it this time. Yeah, icy hot, like you know how to season anything. Midoriya finally managed to sit down, Iharu in his lap, as the chaos continued around him. Here, Iharu, try some of this. He offered the baby a small piece of soft bread. Looks like a storm in the kitchen. Kirishima sat down next to Midoriya. How's it going with Bakugo and Iharu? Chaotic, Midoriya admitted with a chuckle. But we're managing. Doesn't look like managing to me. Shiro commented, watching Bakugo and Todoroki bicker over the curry's consistency. Looks more like survival. At least Todoroki's here to keep things from burning. Uraraka poured drinks for everyone. Last time Bakugo cooked alone, we almost had a fire. Shut it, round face. Bakugo snapped, overhearing. That was one time, and we still remember it. Alright, everyone, dinner served. Todoroki set the tray of roasted broccoli on the table. Let's eat before it gets cold. As everyone dug in, the bickering continued. Pass the rice, Todoroki. And Bakugo, the curry smells amazing. Yeah, Kachan, you did great. Midoriya added, trying to smooth things over. TCH, just eat. Bakugo muttered, but a small smile tugged at his lips. Hey, Iharu likes the curry. Midoriya exclaimed, as the baby eagerly grabbed at the food. Look at him go. He's got good taste. Todoroki nodded approvingly. He better not choke. Bakugo eyed the baby warily. I'm not dealing with that tonight. Relax, Kachan, we're all here to help. And make a mess. Bakugo added, watching as Iharu smeared curry all over his face. Great. This curry is amazing. I'm already on my second bowl of rice. Uraraka's mouth was stuffed with food. Everyone paused, staring at her in shock. Hey, save some rice for the rest of us, you rice monster. Ha ha ha, too late, she laughed, scooping up another bite. As the meal progressed, the room filled with laughter and playful arguments. Despite the chaos, everyone enjoyed the food and the company. Oi, Izuku, pass the fries. Bakugo ordered, reaching across the table. Here, Kachan. Midoriya handed over the bowl of golden, crispy fries. These are actually good, Bakugo admitted grudgingly, popping one into his mouth. Of course they are. I made them. Stop bragging. Icy hot, they're just potatoes. You said it was good, though. Anyone want more tamagoyaki? Todoroki asked, holding up the plate of neatly rolled omelets. Yes, please. Kachan, did you really have to make the curry so spicy? Kaminari whined, fanning his mouth. It's perfect, you just have a weak palate. More like no tolerance, Jiro muttered, shaking her head. Hey, Iharu likes it, Midoriya pointed out, watching the baby munch happily on a piece of pork. That's because he's got taste, Bakugo said with a smirk. You mean he's got your stubbornness? Kirishima laughed, clapping Bakugo on the back. Shut up, shitty hair. Bakugo grumbled, though his eyes softened at the sight of Iharu enjoying the meal. Midoriya's thoughts drifted back to Mina's words as he looked at Bakugo, who was now bickering with Todoroki about the best way to roast broccoli. It can't be. Kachan doesn't see me like that, obviously. He's just being nice to everyone because he wants to change, not because he has feelings for me. Oi, Deku, eat before I change my mind and feed you myself. Everyone almost choked on their rice. The girls blushed at what he said, but Mina found it hilarious. Why don't you get the child so Midoriya can eat? Todoroki suggested as he gets another piece of lean pork. Don't tell me what to do, Todoroki. Bakugo looked at Midoriya, who showed an expression of relief when Bakugo successfully avoided saying a bad word in front of Iharu. The blonde got up and carried Iharu. How about your food? Just finish eating yours so I could finish mine. After dinner, everyone retreated to their rooms, the soft hum of the dormitory settling into a quiet lull. Midoriya lay sprawled on his bed, restless. Iharu was already asleep in the room they all shared, his small figure rising and falling with each breath. Despite the peaceful scene, Midoriya couldn't relax. His thoughts were consumed by Bakugo, who hadn't returned from his evening jog. Unable to quell his anxiety, he grabbed his phone and typed out a quick message. Where are you? It's already late. Minutes passed, each one stretching longer than the last. Finally, his phone buzzed. He scrambled to open the message, only to find it was spam. He groaned in frustration, tossing the phone aside. 20 minutes later, his message to Bakugo still sat unanswered. Just as Midoriya was about to give up an attempt to sleep, he heard the door click open. Bakugo stepped in, his hair damp from sweat, a smirk playing on his lips. I'm home, his voice low and casual. Something snapped in Midoriya. Without thinking, he leapt from his bed and rushed to Bakugo, wrapping his arms around him. The hug was abrupt, driven by a mixture of relief and something more complicated, something he couldn't quite name. Bakugo stiffened, caught off guard. What the Izuku, he muttered, though his tone lacked its usual tension. Midoriya's heart pounded against his ribs. He could feel the heat radiating off Bakugo's body, the smell of sweat mixed with the faint scent of his soap. He pulled back slightly, looking up into Bakugo's eyes, which were darker in the dim light. You're late. Midoriya's voice was softer than he'd intended. Bakugo's eyes narrowed, searching Midoriya's face. So what, you worried about me or something? Midoriya swallowed hard, the tension between them crackling like electricity. Yeah, maybe I was. Bakugo's expression momentarily softened, revealing a flash of vulnerability before his typical tough exterior reasserted itself. Idiot, he muttered, but there was no heat in the word. He gently pushed Midoriya away and moved towards Iharu's bed to check on him. As Bakugo leaned over Iharu, his broad back muscles flexed, the movement captivating Midoriya's attention. Bakugo turned his head, catching Midoriya's stare. What, never seen a guy check on a kid before? Midoriya blushed, quickly averting his eyes. No, it's not that. He stammered, his mind racing to find an excuse. I'm glad you're back, Bakugo snorted, though there was a hint of amusement in his eyes. Whatever, nerd, go to sleep, we have a class tomorrow. Morning light filtered through the curtains, gradually brightening the room. Bakugo was the first to wake up, groaning as he adjusted to the early light. He flopped out of bed, hair disheveled and face creased from sleep. His movements were rough and uncoordinated, betraying the restless night he'd had. He stumbled around, trying to get his bearings, but a blush from his cheeks betrayed him and escaped. What the F is wrong with my F-king mind? Did I almost start dreaming about some serious F-up SHT again? And why the F was nerd about to ride me in the classroom this time? Midoriya stirred, blinking at the sunlight streaming in. He noticed Bakugo's chaotic state and tried to ignore the twinge of concern. He climbed out of bed, moving carefully to avoid making noise as he watched Bakugo struggle. Bakugo grabbed his clothes with a rough tug, muttering under his breath as he struggled to get dressed. His shirt was on backward, and his usual crispness was nowhere to be seen. He ran a hand through his tousled hair, looking more like a disheveled mess than the usually put-together hero. "Morning," Midoriya said softly, attempting to cut through the awkwardness. Bakugo shot him a sideways glance, his expression a mix of annoyance and embarrassment. "Yeah, morning," he mumbled, his voice rough and out of sync with his usual state. Midoriya moved around the room, doing his best to stay out of Bakugo's way as he fumbled with his clothes. Bakugo's usual cool composure was missing, replaced by an air of frustration and irritation. Every movement seemed clumsy, and he repeatedly knocked things over, his attempts to get ready turning into a clumsy display. "Did you sleep okay?" Bakugo grumbled, clearly struggling to keep his frustration in check. Why did I ask him that? Midoriya hesitated before answering. "Not really, I had trouble settling down." Bakugo's face briefly showed a hint of discomfort, but he quickly covered it with a scowl. "Well, don't let it mess things up today and be a burden. We've got stuff to do." "Haha, of course." As Bakugo hurried past him, his shirt still not quite right and his hair sticking out in all directions, their shoulders brushed briefly. The contact was charged with the residual tension from the night before, though neither of them acknowledged it. "I can't believe you're done with your routines this early. You just woke up late." "Well, ask that someone who didn't set an alarm and reassured me that he'd wake me up." "TCH, hurry up and get dressed. We still have a kid to prepare." We're bringing Iharu with us." "What else? Who's gonna take care of him?" "Whoa, big words from someone who literally shoved a child in the closet." Kaminari appeared in their doorway. "When will you learn how to knock?" "I knocked. The door was open so I helped myself in." "That doesn't mean you can go in, idiot." "Chill, bro, I'm just here to deliver a message from Sensei. He said you can send Iharu to play with Ᏸ4ᏰᏩ today." "That's great, thank you, Kaminari." "No problem. By the way, you guys should hurry up since we have an early activity." "Early activity, my ass. The first period teacher always shows up late." They dropped Iharu off in the faculty dorm, where Todoroki, Kirishima, Shiro, and Ojiro stayed behind to help with the baby's transition. The rest of the group headed back to their classroom. As they walked into the classroom, the door swung open to reveal a chaotic scene. Mina was waiting with a microphone and a camera, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "English or Spanish?" she shouted, thrusting the microphone at them with a grin. The boys froze in the doorway, and their classmates burst into laughter at the absurdity of the situation. "I'm surprised Bakugo is going along with this. Ha 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 ha." Jiro mocked enthusiastically, her voice filled with amusement. "I'm also surprised, earphones. Dang, why am I doing this? I know I'm not gay, so why do I feel like I need to prove it?" Bakugo's frustration erupted, and explosions started crackling from his hands. "Go away, idiots, I'm not doing this. Ha 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 ha."
"Denial is a river in Egypt. Your husband is gay."
Mina cackled, dodging a small explosion aimed in her direction. "It's useless to do that anyway, bro, we already know." "We accept you," Shiro chimed in, giving Bakugo a thumbs up. "What the H, shut the F up. I was only kidding, ow. Don't blast me off," Shiro squealed, ducking behind Kirishima. "Settle down." Aizawa appeared out of nowhere, his presence instantly silencing the room. His tired eyes swept over the chaotic scene with a mixture of annoyance and resignation. "Today, students from Shikatsu High are joining you for an important seminar. This is going to be held outside the UA, so prepare yourselves." The classroom fell silent as everyone processed the news. "What's this seminar for, sir?" "It's a collaborative seminar focused on advanced combat techniques and teamwork strategies." You'll be working closely with the Shikatsu students, so be prepared for some intense training. Whoa, sounds intense, but also kind of exciting. Kirishima nudged Todoroki. Yeah, definitely. It'll be a good chance to learn from each other. Todoroki agreed, adjusting his uniform. Better not mess it up, or Aizawa-sensei will have our heads. Shiro joked, giving a mock salute. Just focus on your training and don't let your guard down. Remember, you're representing UA, and we expect you to perform at your best. As the students prepared for the seminar, the earlier chaos faded into a buzz of excitement and nervous energy. They gathered their gear and made their way to the designated meeting spot outside UA, eager to see what the collaboration with Shikatsu High would bring. The scene outside UA was abuzz with activity as the students from both schools assembled. The Shikatsu students, clad in their distinctive uniforms, mingled with their UA counterparts. The seminar promised to be a rigorous test of their skills and teamwork, and both groups were ready to prove their mettle. Aizawa and his counterpart from Shikatsu High, a stern-looking hero with a reputation for toughness, briefed the students. As they lined up and prepared for the day's challenges, the competitive spirit between the two schools added an electric charge to the air. All right, everyone, let's make this seminar productive and memorable. Aizawa led the way, and remember, we're all here to learn and improve. As the seminar progressed, the students were split into various groups for specialized training exercises. In one corner of the training area, the scene turned chaotic and hilarious as Mina, Kaminari, and Hagakure gathered around Midoriya and Kami. Mina, ever the instigator, had her phone out and was recording with a mischievous grin. So, we've got a new BFF situation here. Tell us, Kami, how do you feel about our little Izuku? Kami, caught off guard but amused, laughed. I think he's pretty great. We've had a lot of fun working together. Kaminari leaned in with a sly grin, his eyes sparkling with mischief. Oh, so it's like that, huh? Are we looking at the next power couple of UA and Shikatsu? Should we start designing their couple name now? Denki, stop, Midoriya's face turning a deeper shade of red. Yeah, you know, like, Midori, or, Kamidoriya. Hagakure chimed in with a giggle, her invisible form hovering beside them. Seriously, guys, can we not? Midoriya tried to hide his embarrassment. Mina wasn't having any of it. She dramatically clutched her chest, pretending to swoon. Oh, the tension, I can cut it with a knife. Or maybe with a taco. Or better yet, a giant stuffed animal from the carnival. Stop giving them ideas. Kaminari practically burst with laughter. Next thing you know, we'll be getting, Deku and Kami, plushies with matching outfits. Hagakure snickered, floating around with an invisible hand covering her mouth. Just imagine them going on a romantic mission together, Operation Save the World, and maybe find true love. Kami, enjoying the playful banter, decided to play along. She turned to Midoriya with a dramatic expression. So, Izuku, are you going to serenade me with your quirk at the next sunset? Maybe with some heartfelt speeches and heroic gestures. Midoriya nearly choked on his water. What? That's not. Too late. Mina cut him off, her voice rising to a playful squeal. We're already writing the fanfic. It's going to be called Hero's Heart, the Deku Kami Chronicles. Bakugo, who had been observing the scene from a distance, was already fuming. His eyes shot daggers at the group as he stomped over, his frustration evident. What the hell are you morons doing now? This is a seminar, not a damn romantic comedy. Kaminari, trying to look innocent, shrugged. Just adding a little spice to the seminar, Kachan. You know, keeping it lively. Bakugo's face was practically glowing with anger. Lively, you're turning it into a circus. Come on, Kachan, don't be such a buzzkill. Mina shot back with a grin. A little fun never hurt anyone, unless you've a reason to get hurt. Yeah, and besides, this is the most entertainment we've had all day. Bakugo's scowl deepened, but before he could respond, Aizawa appeared, his tired gaze sweeping over the scene. All right, enough with the distractions. Get back to your training before I start assigning extra drills. The students groaned but quickly returned to their exercises, their laughter and playful banter lingering in the air. Midoriya, still blushing but now with a small smile, looked over at Kami. Thanks for handling that, Kami grinned, giving him a friendly nudge. No problem, it was actually pretty fun. So, where to next? Midoriya glanced around the bustling training grounds. I don't know either. Kami clung to Midoriya's arm. We've pretty much nailed the combat and quirk compatibility tests. We're totally ready to take on the League of Villains. The villains, right. Midoriya's mood darkened, the weight of his responsibilities settling on his shoulders. Hey, don't worry, we've all got your back. You can always count on us. Kami flashed a reassuring smile. Thanks, Kami, I've just been really stressed lately. Those villains are still out there, and now I've got a kid to worry about too. Kami's eyes widened in surprise. Wait, you're babysitting, is he your cousin or something? No, he's my child. Kami choked on her laughter. Are you serious? Did you get someone pregnant? I didn't expect that from you. No, it's not like that. It's Ꮒ4Ᏸ's child. Oh my god, so you two are a couple. Bkdk is real after all. What? No, how did you get pregnant then? Midoriya's face turned beet red. It's not what you think. Kami noticed the stares they were getting from their classmates and quickly pulled him towards a cafe away from the training ground. And why are we here? I need a solid explanation. Midoriya sighed. It's a long story. After a detailed explanation, Kami's jaw dropped. I know that case. My cousin experienced something similar. How did it stop? She confessed to her crush, kissed him, they got together, and, well, you know, they smashed. And poof, the baby was gone and Pookie was found. He kissed and smashed. Yeah, the lady showed up and explained the phenomenon afterward. Are you sure it's the same lady? From your explanation, it matches. You can try it if you're skeptical. Do you have her photo for me to confirm? Nope, just kiss and smash Bakugo already. Enough, Kami, I'll die of embarrassment. I can't even imagine trying that. Don't panic, he likes you anyway. Midoriya gulped, hearing it for the second time. That can't be right. Besides, Mina and Kami both love stirring things up in other people's lives. There's no way Ꮒ4Ᏸ likes me like that. It's impossible, Kami. Why? Don't be so pessimistic. Just try it to lessen the burden for you both. The child will fade once Bakugo learns his lesson, but that's not a guarantee of your safety. The villains could use the child as a hostage, which would be even worse if you both already got attached. I'll think about it, Midoriya. Midoriya turned, surprised to see Todoroki. To Todoroki, what are you doing here? I'm meeting my old man. He's been bugging me to meet for something important. Is it really that important? I guess so. And did you really need Inasa to come along? Inasa blushed. I was just passing by. We're partners. Ha 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 ha. By the way, Bakugo is throwing a fit back at the training ground since you left. Kami side-eyed Midoriya and winked. Let's go back and see for ourselves. They returned to the training ground, and everyone turned to look at Kami clinging to Midoriya's arm. Hey, lovebirds, Kaminari called out, grinning. Had a nice date. It wasn't a date, Midoriya protested, his face reddening. Bakugo, standing nearby with a scowl, looked like he was about to explode. Deku, what the H are you doing with her? Kami smirked. Relax, Bakugo, we were just talking. Talking my ass. You're supposed to be training, not flirting. Sorry if our quirks were just too compatible that we were able to finish training immediately. Compatible, keep on dreaming. Whoa, someone's jealous. Mina teased, nudging Kaminari. Yeah, Bakugo, green isn't your color. Shut up, all of you. Bakugo's explosions crackled around his hands, his face flushed with a mix of anger and embarrassment. Come on, Ꮒ4Ᏸ, it's not like that. Midoriya tried to explain, feeling the tension rise. Sounds like someone's in denial. Kaminari sing-songed, earning more laughter from their classmates. Bakugo's glare could have melted steel. You idiots need to mind your own business. Chill, Bakugo, it's not a big deal. Todoroki said calmly, sipping on a drink. You're already back, Todoroki. How did it go? It was just a small family matter. He could have told me via phone. Yeah, Bakugo, Midoriya's just popular with the ladies. Suyu tilted her head, her tongue flicking out briefly. Ribbit, it's kind of cute how protective you are. Jiro smirked, plugging her earphone jacks into her earlobes. Maybe we should start a betting pool on when you two will finally admit your feelings. No betting. Aizawa's voice cut through the chaos as he appeared, his eyes narrowing. Get back to training, now. Everyone dispersed, but the teasing didn't stop. As they lined up for the next drill, Momo leaned over to Midoriya. So, what were you and Kami really talking about? Nothing important, Midoriya muttered, trying to focus on the task at hand. Sure, nothing important. It's always nothing with you two. Jiro's voice dripping with sarcasm. Honestly, it was just about the villains. And how cute your kid is. Mina teased, winking at Kami. Kami grinned. Actually, yes, We talked about how adorable his baby is. Isn't that right, Daddy Midoriya? Midoriya felt his face heat up. Stop calling me that, why not? It suits you, and you've got Bakugo playing the angry mom role perfectly. Bakugo's growl could be heard from across the field. I'm not the mom. Okay, Dad, why are you eavesdropping though? That's a little too much care from just a friend. Even Kota ships it. Bro suddenly have Jiro's quirk. I can't even hear that far. Seriously, can you guys just stop? Midoriya pleaded, feeling the weight of their jokes. Fine, but only because Aizawa-sensei is glaring at us again. Uraraka pats Midoriya's back. Yeah, we don't want to get detention. As they got back to their training, the group continued to exchange glances and giggles. Bakugo's glare never left Midoriya, but there was a flicker of something else in his eyes, something that made Midoriya's heart skip a beat. What should I do? I can't calm my heart down. It was already evening when they finished their joint training and seminar with Shiketsu High. Thankfully, none of them got into trouble this time. First one to move has to do the groceries. Mina suddenly shouted, and everyone froze, except for Bakugo, who hadn't paused at all. Midoriya and Bakugo are doing the groceries. Mina declared triumphantly. What? I didn't even move first. Kachan was already moving before I did. Bakugo didn't join in the freeze game, so he was automatically included. But you, Midoriya, were the first one to move after we started. Mina, seriously, are you doing this today? Oh, absolutely, you two need to figure things out. The clock is ticking, my dudes. Mina grinned mischievously. At the grocery store, the tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. Bakugo was practically ignoring Midoriya, who was struggling to keep up with his brisk pace. Hey, Kachan, do we need tomatoes? Midoriya asked, trying to break the ice. Bakugo grunted in response, grabbing a bunch of tomatoes without looking at him. Cool. So, what about the rice? We should get enough for everyone. Midoriya continued, feeling more awkward by the second. Bakugo still didn't respond, but he threw a large bag of rice into the cart with a little more force than necessary. Midoriya sighed, deciding to focus on the shopping list. As they moved through the aisles, the silence between them grew heavier. In the snack aisle, Midoriya reached for a bag of chips, only for Bakugo to grab it first, their hands brushing against each other. Midoriya's heart skipped a beat, but Bakugo just scowled and tossed the chips into the cart. So, how about some candy for the group? Midoriya suggested, trying to keep things light. Whatever, Bakugo muttered, still not looking at him. As they rounded the corner to the dairy section, Midoriya accidentally bumped into Bakugo, making him stumble slightly. Bakugo turned, eyes blazing. Watch where you're going, Izuku. Sorry, Kachan. Didn't mean to. Midoriya's too embarrassed, he looked away. Bakugo rolled his eyes and continued down the aisle. Midoriya followed, trying to ignore the way his pulse quickened every time Bakugo was near. When they finally reached the checkout, Bakugo handed over the money, still avoiding eye contact. As they bagged the groceries, Midoriya couldn't help but steal glances at him, wondering what was going through his mind. The walk back to the dorms was silent, the air heavy with unspoken tension. Midoriya carried the heavier bags, hoping the physical strain would distract him from the confusing feelings swirling inside him. He kept stealing glances at Bakugo, whose face was set in a scowl, though his eyes occasionally flicked towards Midoriya. As they walked through the doors of the dorms, they were greeted by their classmates lounging in the common room. Mina, never one to miss an opportunity, grinned widely. So, how'd the grocery date go, lovebirds? Shut up, Mina. Kaminari smirked. Oh, synchronized shouting. You two are really in sync, huh? Did you hold hands while picking out vegetables? Jiro snickered. Or maybe they shared a romantic moment over the dairy section. Yeah. Did you guys bond over the cheese? Maybe they were fighting over who gets to push the cart. Momo, trying to be the voice of reason but failing to hide her amusement. Come on, guys, leave them alone. They probably had a tough time. Bakugo's face was turning red, whether from anger or embarrassment was unclear. Shut the H up, all of you. It was just groceries, okay. Nothing else. Kirishima, ever the supportive friend, clapped Bakugo on the back. Don't worry, man, we get it. Grocery shopping can be intense. Mina waggled her eyebrows. Yeah, especially when there's so much tension in the air. I swear, if you don't stop. Relax, Bakugo. We're just messing with you guys. Yeah, we love you too. You're our favorite couple. We're not a couple. Despite the chaos and teasing, Midoriya couldn't help but notice the way Bakugo's eyes softened when they met his. Back in their room, Bakugo continued to give Midoriya the silent treatment, making the air thick with unresolved tension. Mina and Shiro were busy in the kitchen preparing dinner, leaving the two boys in awkward silence. "Kachan, should we go pick up Aiharu?" Bakugo ignored him, his eyes fixed on something far away. Midoriya sighed, feeling the weight of Bakugo's indifference. "Guess I'll go get him alone then." Midoriya mumbled to himself as he pulled off his shirt, revealing his toned torso. He then removed his pants, leaving him in just his boxers. "I should get him before dinner so he can eat with us," he muttered, more to himself than to Bakugo. Bakugo turned around, his eyes widening at the sight of Midoriya's bare skin. The sight of Midoriya half-dressed, the light casting shadows on his defined muscles, made Bakugo's breath hitch. Without thinking, Bakugo moved across the room in a few quick strides, his frustration boiling over. "What the H are you doing, Deku?" he snapped, grabbing Midoriya by the arm and pinning him against the wall. "Kachan," Midoriya stammered, his face flushing with a mix of surprise and something else he couldn't quite name. Bakugo's eyes were dark, his grip firm as he held Midoriya against the wall. "You think you can just walk around like that and not expect a reaction?" he growled, his breath hot against Midoriya's skin. Midoriya's heart pounded in his chest, his mind racing. I didn't think you'd. Didn't think I'd what, Izuku?" Bakugo cut him off, his voice low and intense. "Notice. Get affected." Midoriya's breath hitched, his eyes locked with Bakugo's. The air between them crackled with unspoken tension, a current of electricity passing between their bodies. "Kachan." Bakugo's eyes flickered with something primal, something he had been holding back for far too long. He leaned in closer, his lips hovering just inches from Midoriya's. "You drive me crazy, you know that," he whispered, his voice rough. With suppressed emotion, Midoriya's pulse raced, his body responding to Bakugo's proximity. "I didn't mean to." Before he could finish, Bakugo's lips crashed onto his, a searing kiss that stole his breath away. Midoriya's eyes widened in shock, but he quickly melted into the kiss, his hands finding their way to Bakugo's shoulders. Bakugo's grip on Midoriya's arm softened, his other hand sliding around Midoriya's waist, pulling him closer. The kiss deepened, a raw, desperate exchange that spoke of all the feelings they had kept buried for so long. When they finally broke apart, both of them were breathing heavily, their foreheads resting against each other. "Izuku," Bakugo whispered, his voice softer now, almost vulnerable. Midoriya's eyes were wide, his heart pounding. "Kachan, don't ever think I don't notice you," Bakugo murmured, his thumb brushing against Midoriya's cheek. "I notice everything." The sound of someone knocking on their door broke the moment. "Hey, you two lovebirds done in there? Dinner's ready." Bakugo pulled back slightly, his face flushing red. "We'll be right out," he shouted back, still holding Midoriya close. Midoriya nodded, still dazed from the kiss. "Yeah, we'll be right out," he echoed, his voice a bit breathless. As they pulled themselves together and headed out to join the others for dinner, Bakugo's eyes never left him. The intense gaze was sending him a hot sensation all over his body. He was sure he saw the blonde looking at his ass when he bent down to get something from the sink after dinner. "You're gonna pick up Aiharu, right? Can I tag along? I wanna play with Eri-chan," Uraraka requested, grinning. "No," Bakugo snapped quickly, though his eyes were practically glued to Midoriya's body. "Hurry up, Izuku, it's already getting late." Midoriya put on his jacket and followed Bakugo out. The night was quiet, each step Midoriya took behind Bakugo making him hyper-aware of the earlier kiss. He couldn't stop thinking about it, imagining what it would be like to do more, to lie beneath Bakugo and submit to him. He bit his lower lip, trying to control his thoughts. As they approached the teacher's dorms, Midoriya suddenly paused. Bakugo, lost in his own thoughts, didn't notice and walked right into him. Midoriya's eyes widened in shock and embarrassment as he felt something hard press against his backside. "Kachan." His breathing quickened, heart pounding in his chest. Sorry," Bakugo muttered, stepping back quickly. His eyes, however, were locked on Midoriya, hungry and intense. Midoriya swallowed hard, his face burning. "It's okay," he whispered, his voice barely audible. Bakugo clenched his fists, trying to regain control. "Let's just get Aiharu and go." His voice was gruff but betraying his own struggle with the situation. They retrieved Aiharu, who was already dozing off, and began the walk back to their dorm. The tension between them was suffocating, each step filled with unspoken desire and frustration. Midoriya's mind was a whirlwind of emotions. He could still feel the ghost of Bakugo's touch, the heat of his body pressed against his. He wanted more, needed more, but he couldn't bring himself to say it. Bakugo, on the other hand, was battling his own inner thoughts. He had always prided himself on his control, his ability to stay focused, but Midoriya was unraveling him. Every glance, every accidental touch was driving him closer to the edge. When they finally reached the dorms, the tension had reached a boiling point. Bakugo set Iharu down gently and turned to Midoriya, his eyes dark with desire. "Izuku, we need to talk." Bakugo's voice was low and strained. Midoriya nodded, his heart racing. "Yeah, we do," he agreed, stepping closer to Bakugo. Before they could say anything more, their classmates burst into the room, breaking the moment. "Oh my god, look at these two, back from their romantic errand," Mina teased, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Bakugo was trying his best not to bury Mina alive as she had been interrupting a lot lately. "I knew it, they were totally making out." Kaminari, wiggling his eyebrows suggestively. "Did you hold hands while picking up Iharu?" Hagakure giggled, her voice full of playful mockery. Bakugo scowled, trying to keep his composure. "Shut up, you idiots," he growled, but the red on his cheeks betrayed him. Midoriya, equally flustered, tried to defend himself. "It's not like that, we just—" "Oh, please, Midoriya. We all saw the way you were looking at each other. Seriously, get a room already." Uraraka laughed, causing a fresh wave of laughter from everyone. Bakugo shot them all a withering glare, but it was clear his heart wasn't in it. "You're all insufferable." As the laughter died down and everyone settled into dinner, Bakugo and Midoriya exchanged a look. Later that night, the dorm was quiet as everyone had settled into their rooms. The baby had fallen asleep in Midoriya's room, leaving the green-haired hero pacing nervously. He couldn't get the earlier events out of his mind, his thoughts a chaotic mix of confusion and longing. Just as he was about to try and get some sleep, a firm knock on his door startled him. Before he could respond, Bakugo entered, his expression intense and determined. "Come with me," Bakugo demanded, his voice low and rough. Midoriya's heart raced as he followed Bakugo down the hall. He had a feeling he knew where this was heading, but the anticipation was almost unbearable. Bakugo led him into his room, closing the door behind them with a decisive click. "Kachan, what is this about?" Midoriya asked, his voice trembling slightly. Bakugo didn't answer right away. Instead, he took a step closer, his gaze locked onto Midoriya's. The air between them was thick with tension, every second feeling like an eternity. "Do you have any idea what you do to me, Deku?" Bakugo finally said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Every time I look at you, every time you speak, I can't get you out of my head." Midoriya's breath hitched. He had imagined this moment so many times, but now that it was happening, he felt utterly overwhelmed. "Kachan, Before he could finish, Bakugo closed the distance between them, his hands grabbing Midoriya's shirt and pulling him close. Their lips met in a fierce, desperate kiss, all the pent-up emotions of the past few days pouring out. Midoriya responded immediately, wrapping his arms around Bakugo's neck, pulling him closer. The kiss deepened, their tongues tangling as they poured their desire into each other. Bakugo's hands roamed Midoriya's back, pressing him even closer, their bodies molding together perfectly. When they finally broke apart for air, Bakugo's eyes were dark with need. "Izuku, I can't hold back anymore." His voice raw with emotion. Midoriya nodded, his own desire mirroring Bakugo's. "I don't want you to," he whispered, his fingers tracing the lines of Bakugo's jaw. Bakugo growled softly and pushed Midoriya back onto the bed, hovering over him. "You're mine, Izuku." Midoriya shivered at the words, his body responding eagerly. "Yes, Kachan," he breathed, reaching up to pull Bakugo down to him. Bakugo's hands were everywhere, exploring every inch of Midoriya's body with a possessive fervor. Each touch, each caress, was filled with an intensity that left Midoriya breathless. He felt like he was on fire, every nerve ending alight with desire. Bakugo's lips traveled down Midoriya's neck, leaving a trail of burning kisses. "I've wanted this for so long," he murmured against Midoriya's skin. "Wanted you." Midoriya's fingers tangled in Bakugo's hair, arching into his touch. "Me too, Kachan," he confessed, his voice trembling with need. I've always wanted you. Their clothes were discarded in a frenzy of need, and soon they were skin to skin, the heat between them almost unbearable. Bakugo's hands and mouth were relentless, exploring and claiming every part of Midoriya. As they moved together, the intensity of their connection only grew, their desire for each other reaching a fever pitch. Bakugo's every touch, every kiss, was a promise of devotion, and Midoriya responded with equal fervor, giving himself completely to Bakugo. When they finally descended from the heights of their passion, they lay tangled together, their breaths mingling as they held each other tightly. The unspoken bond between them had deepened, their connection now more intense and undeniable than ever. Bakugo pressed a soft kiss to Midoriya's forehead. "I like you, Izuku," he whispered, his voice raw with emotion and desire. Midoriya smiled, his heart swelling with a mix of happiness and arousal. "I like you too, Kachan." His voice trembled with the weight of his feelings. He knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. Bakugo's eyes darkened with lust. "You know what, I've dreamed of you riding me so eagerly so many times. I woke up with a mess in my pants." Midoriya bit his lip, feeling a surge of desire course through him. "Do you want me to?" Bakugo's breath hitched, his eyes locking onto Midoriya's with a hungry intensity. "What?" Midoriya's gaze flicked downwards, noting the growing tension in Bakugo's lower half. "King ride me till morning, then wring me dry." Bakugo's grip tightened on Midoriya, pulling him closer. "Izuku, if you start, I won't be able to stop." Midoriya's response was a heated kiss, full of promise and unrestrained desire. "Then don't," he whispered against Bakugo's lips, ready to fulfill both their deepest desires. "Do what you want to me, Kachan. Then, I want a real kid." "What? Let's make a baby. We're too young for that." "Ah." Izuku covered his mouth to muffle the sound. "Don't do it so suddenly. You're too B." The next day, Midoriya was so exhausted that he could barely get up. With Katsuki's help, he managed to make his way to his room to check on Iharu. However, they were both shocked to find that Iharu had vanished, leaving only his clothes and a letter on the bed. "You finally learned your lesson, blonde barking dog. Let me explain the situation. The kid was a reflection of your behavior. He would age down when you were being bad and age up when you improved. In this case, he aged up too much and reached his end, since you apparently made a huge improvement. Another alternative cure was for you to be honest with the one you love. The quirk already knew who you loved most from the first day it struck you. Additionally, the child's appearance was based on who you love, so performing the alternative cure wouldn't have been difficult since the child's appearance would commonly give away the cure. In your case, you were such a tsundere that the only mixed trait was the child's eye color, yellow, a mix of your red and your love's green. Enjoy." Bakugo tossed the letter aside and looked at Midoriya with a smirk. "Forget the letter. Get over here." Midoriya's eyes widened at the sight of the obvious tent in Bakugo's pants. "Kachan, we haven't even slept." Bakugo's grip was firm, pulling Midoriya close. He growled, his voice thick with desire. "Who needs sleep when we've got unfinished business?" 1 hour later, in the common room, I haven't seen Midoriya and Bakugo. Where are they? They're busy being businessmen, of course.